A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all-old-time radio.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents
X minus 1.
Tonight, The Reluctant Heroes by Frank M. Robinson. Only Chapman was awake. The others sprawled on bunks 20 inches wide with clearance of 24 inches between layers. They breathed heavily, taking in air that had been breathed for 18 months, subject to certain modifications to remove carbon dioxide and replenish oxygen by the catalytic action of the Harcourt King unit on silicon dioxide. Outside the single quartzite port, the lunar dawn was breaking. The dead black shadows moved across the crater as the green haze of Earthlight gave way to the blinding white of the sun. The telegraph key, which linked the research bunker to the space station in orbit around Earth, chattered as Chapman copied the message into the log pad.
Yeah. Yeah. In a pig's eye. Miserable, no good.
What do they want?
They want me to stay until the next relief ship lands. Go back to sleep.
It's my turn for breakfast. You going to stay?
Sure. 3 years on the moon, they figure I'll be glad to stay for more. Just raise my salary or give me a bonus.
Every man has his price.
Mm-hmm. They probably figure I like it here.
Chapman, you found a home here on the moon.
Sure. Canned coffee, canned beans, canned pills, and canned air till your insides feel like they're plated with tin. The little scientific home of tomorrow. 10 steps in any direction. A charming place where you can't take a shower, you can't brush your teeth, and your insides don't even work right.
Why did you tell him?
No.
You kept it short.
Check the oxy cycle before you turn on the stove.
What's the matter? You sore or something, Chapman?
Why shouldn't I be?
All I'm trying to do is get a good man to stay on the job a while.
Well, they got a fat chance.
They figure you found a home here, right, Doe?
Why don't you guys shut up till morning? Some of us have to stay here, you know. Some of us aren't going back today.
All right. You might as well get up and get a day's work today before the relief rockets do. I got the coffee ready.
Coffee? It's been in a can so long I can taste the glue on the label.
Why don't they send up an oil can? These elbow joints make me feel like the Tin Woodman in The Wizard of Oz.
You can't lubricate vacuum seal joinings. Let it squeak. At least it doesn't leak air.
Get that back, that Doug, for me, will you, Donnelly?
Lean over, you fat slob. You put on 3 more pounds, you won't get off the moon. You won't get through the airlock.
Yeah. Hey, chap,
Hmm?
you think we ought to radio the space station and see if they've left there yet?
I talked to him on the last call. The relief ship left 12 hours ago. They should get here in about 6.5 hours.
Chap, you know what I'm thinking? You've been here twice as long as the rest of us. What's the first thing you're going to do once you get back?
I don't know. I guess I was trying not to think about that.
I haven't been here 3 years like you have, but I've got plans. What are you going to do?
Well, I'm going to rent a room in a Hotel Astor over Times Square and just sit at the window and watch the people on the street. And I think I'll see somebody.
What somebody?
Oh, just somebody. What are you going to do, Donnelly?
Well, I'm going to do something practical. First of all, I'm going to turn over my geological samples to the government. Then I'm going to sell my life story to the movies. And I think I'll get drunk.
How about you, Julius?
Well, first, I'll get rid of my allocations to the expedition. And then I think I'll go home and see my wife. Then I'll take off my spacesuit.
I thought all members of the groups were supposed to be single.
They are, and I can see the reasons for it, but who could pass up the money the commission was paying?
If I had to do it all over again, me.
Hand me a fishbowl.
You know, chap, it won't seem like the same old moon without you on it. Like they say in the Army, you never had it so good. You found a home here.
All right, button up. And remember to check your suits for leaks and check the valves of your oxygen tanks.
I've gone out at least 500 times. You've checked me every time.
And I'd check you 500 more. It only takes one mistake. And watch out for blisters under the pumice crust. You go through one of those, and that's it, brother.
Okay, I'll check.
Fine. I never knew you were married.
There wasn't much sense in talking about it. You just get to thinking, and there's nothing you can do about it. If you talk about it, it just makes it worse.
She let you go without any fuss,
No, she didn't make any fuss. I don't think she'd like to see me go either. At least I hope she didn't. You got a girl back home?
Yes.
No, you never mentioned that either.
For the same reason you didn't mention your wife. You get to thinking about it.
You got to get married when you get back?
Yeah.
Hurry up, will you, Klein? I'm sweating. Somebody ought to build in underarm sprays and spacesuits.
Chap, why does somebody have to stay here for stopover?
Lots of reasons. You can't get a whole relief crew and let them take over cold. They have to know where things are, how things work, what to watch out for. Then, because you've been here for 1.5 years and you know the ropes, you have to watch them to see that they stay alive in spite of themselves.
Why was it you on the first trip? You're not a scientist.
No, I was the pilot on the first ship. When it occurred to us that someone was going to have to stay over, I volunteered. I thought the others were so important that it was better they take their samples and data back to Earth when the first relief ship came.
You wouldn't do it again, though, would you?
No.
You think Dole will do as good a job as you did?
He volunteered.
Yeah, he volunteered because he thought it would make him look like a hero.
I've lost 3 years up here, and I don't intend to lose any more.
Okay.
Check your valve.
All right, check.
I checked Geiger, CR, oxy, and scintilla readings. Everything okay. You packing, chap?
Yeah. Oh, listen, Dole, I've got 3 or 4 shirts here that are a little too big. I got them from Dreisbach in the first group. You want them?
Chap, do you think they'll ever have relief ships up here more often than 18 months? I mean, considering the advance
No, I don't. Not for 10 years. Fuel's too expensive and the trip's too hazardous. Why, on freight charges alone, you're worth your weight in platinum when they send you up here. Won't be so bad. There'll be new men up here. You'll pass a lot of time just getting to know them.
Yeah. Listen, chap, I'm engaged back home, you know. Nice girl. You'd like her if you knew her. Here, let me show you. This is a picture of Alice taken at a picnic when we were together.
Mm-hmm.
See, it's a kind of bad angle because she's really got a better figure than that. But, well, we expected to get married when I got back. I never told her about stopover. She thinks I'll be home tomorrow. I kept thinking that somehow
You want to trade places with me, don't you? You thought I might stay for stopover again in your place.
Well, chap, I know you want to go home, but I couldn't ask any of the others. You're the only one who was qualified. Look, you know my father's pretty well fixed. Chap, we could make it worth your while. It would mean 18 more months, but they'd be well-paid months.
Forget it, Dole. You're staying and I'm going home.
Klein. Hey, Klein.
Yo,
Where are you?
about 10 yards off the trail.
Come out of the shadow.
I've got a meter jammed over here.
You know the regulations. Chapman will kick like a steer. Keep inside at all times.
I'll only be a minute. Got a short circuit in my instrument.
Time for 10-minute check.
I've got my hands full. My valves are all right.
I know it. You know it. But the book says valve and leak check every 10 minutes.
Hey.
Come out. What?
You see a flash?
Where?
Past Camel's Hump. There. What is that, Northern Lights?
No, come over here, you fat geologist.
Oh, what's the matter with you?
That's the relief rocket. Come on.
Hey, where you going?
I'm going over to the ship. Breathe some air that's a little less used.
You think we ought to? Chapman said to stay.
Forget Chapman. We're going home. I want to see that beautiful ship. Come on.
Well, how about the 10-minute check?
Just a formality. Forget it. This is Christmas and 4th of July roll into one.
Okay, let's go. I can just taste some clean, fresh air.
Yeah, see it when we top the hump.
Well, maybe we better check. Wait a minute. I'll swing my gauge up. Donnelly,
Yeah?
how long have we been out?
Oh, about a half hour.
Yeah? Well, look at your gauge.
Well, what are you at? Oh.
If we'd started for the rocket, we never would have made it. We would have strangled halfway down the hump. Come on, we better get back to the bunker.
Check the lock seal.
Okay.
All right, open the inner door. Close the lock.
Get me out of this fishbowl. It's down. The relief rocket, it's down on the other side of Camel's Hump.
Oh, what a beautiful-looking ship. What a beautiful ship.
They must be on their way over here now.
Chap, they're on their way. We're going home today.
Get your RA unit out of that suit and into the dryer.
All right. Okay. What's eating you, Dole?
Listen, just because the relief rocket lands, it doesn't mean your RA unit is going to dry up by itself. That goes for you, too, Donnelly.
Okay. Hey, Chapman,
Yeah?
he's taking it pretty hard.
He volunteered.
Yeah, he volunteered.
What a beautiful, beautiful ship.
Hey, listen, what happened to Pittsburgh and series? That's all I want to know. Yeah, Washington, Columbus.
Halstead's still teaching at the university. Who took over a seminar at the AEC?
Hey, look what we got here. Chap, come here.
What's the matter?
Hey, look what this one's got, a box.
Yeah?
Look inside, dirt. Ordinary dirt with grass. Grass. Hey, fellas, it feels like grass.
That's right, it's real grass.
Yeah, and real valuable. Do you realize at current freight rates up here, it's worth about $10 a blade?
Oh, shut up.
Hey, Bud, you mind if I chew a blade?
Mr. Chapman.
Yes?
Oh, Mr. Chapman. My name's Eberline, captain of the relief ship. I understand you're in charge here.
Yeah, you might say so. They didn't have a captain on the first ship, just a pilot and crew. Dole, turn up the oxycycle in the Harcourt unit.
Well, things have advanced somewhat, huh? Look, Mr. Chapman, is there any place where we can talk together privately?
Well, come around the corner of my locker. It's about as private as we can get.
Oh, good.
What's on your mind?
I've always wanted to meet the man who spent more time here than anybody else. You mind if I smoke?
You better ask Dole. He's in charge now.
Oh. You know, we have big plans for the research station here.
Oh? I haven't heard of any.
Oh, yes, big plans, big plans. They're working on unmanned open-side rockets now that can carry cargo. Sheet steel for more bunkers like this.
Mm-hmm.
Enable us to enlarge the unit. Have a series of bunkers all linked together. Make good laboratories and good living quarters for you people. Have a little privacy for a change.
Well, they could use a little privacy up here.
Oh, they could. Well, that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you, Chapman. The commission talked it over, and they'd like to see you stay. They feel if they're going to enlarge it, add more bunkers, and have more men up here, that a man of practical experience should be running things. They figure you're the only man who's capable and has had that experience.
Is that all?
Well, naturally, you'd be paid well. I don't imagine any man would like being here all the time. They're prepared to double your salary, maybe even a bonus in addition. They want you to have full charge. You'd be director of lunar laboratories.
Oh, a title, too.
Well, the commission said they'd be willing to consider anything else you had in mind. If it's more money...
The answer is no. I'm not interested in more money for staying because I'm not interested in staying. Money can't buy it, Captain.
Look,
I'm sorry. I'm afraid you'd have to stay up here to appreciate that.
I'm afraid you don't understand the importance
Captain,
of this.
Come over here to the port.
Yes?
Now look out there about 100 yards.
You mean where that mound of stones?
That's right. We made that cross out of condensed milk cans slid over iron bars. When you get out there, you can still see the footprints in the pumice where we gathered around. It's more than 18 months ago, but there's been no wind to wear those tracks away. They'll be there forever.
Oh, I see. Well, who was it? Dreisbach? Or Dixon?
Dixon. We never got Dreisbach out of the crevasse in Taco.
What happened?
You want to know? I can give it to you in detail. Sit down and listen.
Well, what do you mean?
Just wait a minute and I'll show you.
Why? What is it?
Regulations. When someone goes out alone, we have to monitor his radio, tape recorded. We had the recorder open when Dixon went out. I want you to hear it.
Well, all right.
I got the tape right here. It's taken me a minute to thread it up.
Look, Chapman, you don't have
to... I want you to listen.
Moon, great big silvery moon, won't you please shine down on me, moon.
Regulations. He had to keep saying something so we know he was all right. Most of the guys just sing.
Gentlemen, I'm getting a lovely sonar reading. Hey, if anybody wants to set up a tombstone concession on the moon, this is the spot. Lovely marble, granite, and rock suitable for lobbies here. It's that old devil moon that...
He should have been making a 10-minute check on his oxygen level. He was a good kid, all wrapped up in science. Being on the moon was the opportunity of a lifetime. He thought so much about it that he forgot a lot of little things, like how to stay alive. This was the day before the second group came.
All right, gentlemen. I have 3 or 4 more readings to take, and I'll be right in. I'm doing fine. Fine. Little stuffy. It's almost as if... Hey, somebody get a fix on me, huh? How far am I from the bunker? Must have sprung a leak. When did I take the last 10-minute check? How far am I? It's down to 22.
We took a fix. He was a half hour out.
I can't
He couldn't
get the
make
valve
that.
Closed. Listen, you gotta come out and get me. You gotta come out and get me. It's down to 22. Is somebody listening back there? Hey, is somebody listening? I figure I've got 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes. Listen, you can make it in 10 minutes. I'll meet you towards Camel's Hump. I'll start now. Come and get me, you hear? Come and get me. Chapman? Are you listening, Chapman? Can you hear me? I'm running. Camel's Hump. Hot. The heat. The RA unit's overloading. Can't dry it up. Gotta run. No use. I can't run. The unit heats up. Gauge is down to 15. I can't make it. I'm gonna sit down now. You'll find me at number 7 radiation meter, about 10 yards off the trail. I'm gonna sit down. Sit down next to a rock. Getting dizzy. Hey, remember we used to argue? Do you strangle from no oxy or pass out from CO2? Keep tuned to this channel, boys. You'll find out. It's that old devil moon that you... Oh, boy, the Earth's going around and around and around. Chap, you can't get me, can you?
We didn't have a chance by even 15 minutes. We didn't even go out. There wasn't any sense to it.
Did you record after that?
Yeah, it's on the tape, but you don't want to hear it. We've never put it back.
That's why we want you to stay, Chapman. We don't want any more like Dixon.
You don't get the point, Captain. I don't want to be the next Dixon. I'm going home now.
But you're...
Bob Dole is staying for stopover. If there's something important about the project or any changes, you better tell him before you go.
Mail call. Chap, here's one for you. Donnelly.
Yo.
Dole. Donnelly.
Yo.
Klein. Dole. Donnelly.
Yeah. Boy, did I miss an opportunity. I could have had a year's subscription to the Ladies' Home Journal combined with the American Farmer, all for half price.
All right, men, all right. My departure time is an hour and a half.
Hey, my sister had twins.
Hey, chap, aren't you going to read your letter?
I read it. It's a short letter.
Is something wrong?
No, there's nothing wrong. Dole.
What is it, Chap?
Get your stuff and leave with the others.
What? What do you mean?
What are you talking about, chap? Get your bag and let's go.
I'm not going back.
Well, what's the matter with you? Did you suddenly decide you don't like the blue sky and the trees? Come on, let's go.
Look, Julius, I'm not going back. I haven't got anything to go back for.
Was it the letter?
Yeah. Dear Joe, this isn't going to be a nice letter, but I thought it best you should know before you come home.
Oh.
Isn't very original, is it? 3 years is a long time, and 250,000 miles is a long distance. You know what, Julius? She can look up in the night sky now and tell him how she was once engaged to the man in the moon. That's a real conversation piece, isn't it? Very funny. Go ahead, Dole. Get going.
You're doing a much braver thing than you may think, Mr. Chapman.
Yeah, sure.
You like the looks of the moon going away from it, Mr. Dole?
It looks a lot better this way.
I suppose you'll be glad to get home.
I'd rather not talk about it. They were kidding Chapman this morning. They said he found a home on the moon.
If we'd stayed an hour or so more, he might have changed his mind and left after all.
I'd offered him money. I didn't want to stay for stopover. I was a coward, and I offered him money to stay in my place.
Well, we're all cowards once in a while. But your offer of money had nothing to do with his staying. He stayed because he had to stay. Because we made him stay.
I don't understand.
Chapman had a lot to go home for. He was engaged to be married.
I know.
We got her to write him a letter breaking it off. We knew that it meant that he'd lost one of his main reasons for wanting to go back. I think perhaps he still would have left if we'd stayed and argued him into going. But we left before he could change his mind.
That was a lousy thing to do.
We had no choice. We didn't use it except as a last resort.
I don't know of any girl who would have written such a letter if she was really in love with a guy like Chapman. No matter what your reasons.
There was only one girl who would have. Ginny Dixon. You see, Chapman's girl was Dixon's sister. She understood what we were trying to tell her. That the new shift had to be safe. That there had to be someone who had to take over and keep those boys alive. She understood that. Because her brother died up there.
You mean he's the only one? I couldn't have done the job?
Oh, look, Dole. Chapman knows how to live on the moon. He's like a trapper who spent all his time in the forest. He knows it like the palm of his hand. He never makes mistakes. He never fails to check things. And he isn't a scientist. He would never become so preoccupied with research that he'd fail to make checks, and he can watch out for those who do make mistakes. He understood that, too, all too well. It costs a lot of money to send ships up there and establish a colony. You have to have the best man for the job. You get them even if they don't want to do it. Personal lives and viewpoints are expendable. It's got to be that way. There's too much at stake.
It's a cold place, the moon.
You're an odd bunch of guys. You and the others in the groups. Few of you, Dole, come up for the glamour. I know. None of you really like it. And none of you are enthusiastic about it. You're all reluctant to come in the first place, for the most part. You're a bunch of, well, of pretty reluctant heroes.
18 months. He'll be up there 18 more months.
Personally, I don't feel happy about that. I don't like having to mess up other people's lives. I hope I won't have to again. Maybe somehow, some way, this one can be patched up. We'll try to.
18 months.
In the meantime, on behalf of the Commission and myself, I feel like a cheap, rotten heel.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features My Lady Greensleeves, a novelette by Frederick Pohl, which begins when a guard smelled trouble and knew it would come because he had been bred that way. Galaxy Magazine, on your newsstand today. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you The Reluctant Heroes, a story from the pages of Galaxy written by Frank M. Robinson and adapted for radio by Ernest Kenoy. Featured in the cast were Mandel Kramer as Chapman, Jim Drummond as Klein, Bob Hastings as Dahl, Dick Hamilton as Donnelly, Jim Stevens as Dixon, and Dick Janiver as Eberline. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production.
After her baby daughter was lost in a shipwreck 14 years ago, Mrs. Patricia Gregory started searching the world over in the hope that her little girl might still be alive. Now Mrs. Gregory is again in the South Seas, and with her on her private yacht are Captain Tex Bradford and Jerry Hall. Jerry was a young radio operator in Los Angeles who received the first mysterious message about an old sailor having seen the Magic Island and a little white girl on it. The yacht is lying now completely becalmed near a strange bank of fog.
I tell you, you've got to believe me. You've got to believe me.
Don't get so excited, Jerry. We can hear you without your shouting like that.
Yes, take it easy, kid.
Oh, I'm sorry, but this is something to get excited about. You know that fog bank over there is not fog, don't you, Captain Bradford?
Well, it doesn't act like any fog I ever saw, Jerry, but what else could it be?
But, Mrs. Gregory, you still think it's fog, don't you?
What else can I think?
Well, you can think about the story that the old sailor told and the magic island. That fog, well, or whatever it is out there, is just where the old man said we'd find the island, isn't it?
Right to the inch, boy.
And this yacht was up against it, in it. But we didn't get wet or cold from it. Fog is wet, isn't it?
Yes, of course.
And Captain Bradford's fog machine has always made a hole through every other fog he tried it on, hasn't it, Tex?
I've never found another fog that machine wouldn't penetrate to a point of fair visibility.
Then that stuff over there is not fog. It isn't wet, and your machine didn't even start to go through it. It looks just like a wall made of gray stone or cement.
Tex, you're not really convinced about this, are you?
I've lived a long time without seeing anything that looked like magic, as Jerry likes to call it, but I've never seen anything like this.
Well, I don't know whether it's magic or not, but it's sure funny. And there's another mighty funny thing about this whole business.
What else?
This ocean is too smooth right around the edge of that fog. Look farther away on the sides and behind us. The water is rough enough, but here, right here near that fog bank, the water is as smooth as glass. The boat isn't even rolling.
I noticed that, Jerry, and I don't like it.
Then there is something mysterious about this place. And if the island... Oh, if the island could only be here, and my little Joan alive and well on it...
Well, I don't know about the island, but I do know we ought to find out more about that fog stuff. Why not try sailing around it? Maybe we can see something from the other side.
Well, we did. What's the use? You couldn't see anything?
Tex, you've seen something you're keeping from Jerry and me. You do know something about that fog bank.
Do you, Captain Bradford? Do you?
Well, I didn't want to tell you. It doesn't help matters a bit. There's no use of all of us worrying about the impossible. But I do know a little more about that fog bank than you two.
Don't treat me as if I were a child. What is it, Tex?
Oh, we're stuck so bad now that a little more won't scare me any worse. What did you find out, Captain?
Well, you and Mrs. Gregory remember that you spent a long time working over that chart while I was on deck?
Yes.
I mean, before I called you to come and look at the fog?
Why, we were talking about Joan and the Magic Island and all. I guess we did talk a long time.
What were you doing, Tex?
Well, I was on the bridge, and the skipper will tell you this is the truth.
Yes?
Go on. Go on.
Well, we have sailed around that fog bank.
We've sailed around it?
Gee. Well, what was on the other side?
A fog bank.
Oh. Then it is just fog.
Wait, Mrs. Gregory. Go on, Captain. There's more, isn't there?
There's a whole lot more. From the circumference of the circle we described in rounding this thing, it must be about half a mile around it. Possibly a little more. And it's perfectly round.
That doesn't tell us much.
I want to hear it all, Tex.
No, I don't want to get you all worked up over it. May not mean a thing. But our instruments read exactly the same on all four sides of that fog.
What?
You mean they didn't change at all as you went around?
That's it. And from our solar readings and my radio beam check, that reading is correct. Correct to a fraction of a second, but...
But what?
Hurry. Hurry and tell us, or I'm going to pass out.
The readings we took all around this thing belong in the center of it. Everything reads to a perfect center when you're sailing around the edge of that fog.
Then a regular vessel, I mean one that just sailing through here on a regular run, would skirt around that fog without knowing they'd run off their course.
I guess they would. We found nothing to indicate our course had been changed. And if we weren't looking for trouble, we would have figured the same as any other navigator. That we were just passing a small fog bank and not being compelled to follow a distorted curve around it.
Then that means just one thing. There is something behind or in that fog. Something. And that something is...
I'll bet it's the Magic Island. Oh, golly whiskers. We're here. We found it. Gee, Mrs. Gregory. Now we'll get your little girl back.
Not so fast, son. Even if there is an island there, what can we do about it? The yacht won't go through the fog. We tried that.
Then let's figure why it won't go through it.
That's out of the question, isn't it?
Nothing is out of the question with Tex and I to figure things out.
Well, just leave me out of that, Jerry. You figure this yourself. I'm stuck.
Well, if we can't sail through it, there's something funny about it. And something funny about a fog means it's being done on purpose.
Jerry, you mean it isn't just a natural phenomenon? That the fog is man-made, controlled?
How about those instruments, Captain? And the fog holding the boat just like a magnet. That's it. Magnet. Oh, giggling goldfish. Why didn't I think of that before? That fog is magnetized.
That's my idea, boy, but I hated to make such a wild statement.
Well, that sounds possible. There are a great many magnetic deposits and formations in many parts of the world.
But don't you see, Mrs. Gregory? We don't mean a magnetic field that just happened there. That fog has been magnetized by somebody or something.
Do you think that's possible? You're not just excited and running away with yourself, Jerry.
Well, if he is, I'm running way ahead of him. Patricia, that fog bank is not ordinary fog. It's magnetized as surely as we're standing on this yacht looking at it. And there's probably an island hidden in it.
Well, but Tex...
And that's not guesswork. It's a scientific probability.
What else would have held our boat against that fog but a powerful magnetic force of some kind? And what else but a magnet? And a magnet with somebody running it would have turned the boat loose when it got ready.
Why, it's thrilling. But it's terrible, too. What can it mean?
It can mean we're up against the greatest piece of electrical or chemical wizardry this generation has seen. And we're going to see all of it.
Where do we start, Tex?
Start guessing, and as if you've done pretty well so far, Jerry. Suppose you take the first guess.
Well, isn't it better to do something you're sure of than it is to guess?
What can anyone be sure of in these weird circumstances?
Got something definite in mind, son?
Well, we can see what's inside that fog ring. If the little plane lashed to the deck, we'll fly over it.
Of course. Why didn't you think of that, Tex?
I did, but it'll take an hour to assemble the wing spread, lower to the water, and get ready for a takeoff. By that time, it'll be pretty dark. I don't like to try getting the plane back on board at night, except in an emergency.
Golly whiskers. Here you've got a magnetized bank of artificial fog right under your nose, and a magic island, and a... Well, how much do you need to make it an emergency?
Well, I'm in a matter of life and death. That island, if it is inside the fog, has been there a lot of years, and it won't run away tonight.
Then we can't do anything until morning?
Oh, I guess not. Say, I've got it. I'll swim ashore. That's it.
You'll do everything else, boy.
You can't do that, Jerry.
I'll bet I can. And I bet I'll get through that fog, too. I won't wear anything that a magnet will hang on to.
And after you get through the fog, what then?
What do you mean? What then?
Mrs. Gregory and I are outside with the yacht. And if anything should happen to you, we couldn't get in there.
Why not try shooting through the fog?
No, you might hit... Of course, I mean, if this really is the island we're looking for, Joan might be hurt.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Well, I guess we'll have to wait till morning.
I've got one small idea. Let's see. Skipper!
Aye.
Will you step up forward here, please?
Aye.
Now, Jerry, I want you to go into our cabin. Get that long black case, the one that looks like a violin case, out of the instrument locker. Bring it here and handle it as if it were eggs.
Right away, sir. I'll get it.
Sir?
Skipper, the swell is rolling heavier now. We can't use the motors to hold our position, as I need all the power in this cable here. Will you try for a good anchorage so I can cut all the juice away from the engine room?
Sounded.
Well?
3
fathoms?
Aye.
Can I help, Tex? I'm so nervous, but for once I seem to be helpless. I'm sorry I've always been able to think with you before, but no,
I understand, darling.
Tex.
I didn't say anything.
I know you didn't, but I'm glad you said it.
Oh, I suppose I shouldn't have.
You shouldn't, and I've been waiting years to hear it.
Patricia,
Here's the case, Captain Bratt. Oh, golly whiskers. I guess you forgot the case, didn't you? I'll go back and bring it in again if you want me to.
No, Jerry. You just rescued me in time.
You don't yell for help very loud, do you?
Now, Jerry, come on. Let's hook up the machine. Break that cable. Bring the shielded lead plug over here while I open the case.
Are we going to anchor here for the night? The skipper's paying out the stern chain.
Yes. Tex thinks we'd better not move till morning, and the skipper reports sounding's okay for a good anchorage.
Can I help with the machine?
Not yet, Jerry. I'm a little afraid to have anyone but myself handle it until it's set up.
It's sure a funny-looking thingamabob. What is it?
I never saw this before either, Tex. Is that what you've been working on so secretly in the laboratory?
I've done nothing else for over a year, and it's perfect.
What is it?
Well, I haven't named it officially yet, but I think I'll call it my Straightoscope.
Straightoscope?
Well, what does that mean?
Well, it's a combination of strata and scope, as from stratosphere and periscope. In other words, it will do through the air, and at tremendous altitudes and distances, what the periscope will do within a very limited range.
I think it sounds lovely, Tex, but what will it do?
Left you behind that time, eh, Pat? How about you, son?
I think I know what you mean. You can look away up in the air, then away over someplace, then down again, like seeing over the horizon. Isn't that it?
That's it exactly, Jerry, and I know it works. I've tried it over a 300-foot building. When I was on the ground on one side, the objective was on the ground on the other side, and I saw it.
And now you're going to look over that fog and down onto the island.
Oh, can we? Really?
I'm getting excited now. You see, it's a case of plotting the trajectory of the wave curve I'm sending out. Figuring the density of the exact strata in the atmosphere I must refract the wave from to bring it down to Earth on the desired spot.
But how do you see anything with a wave?
These waves will return to me with almost as great an intensity as they leave the instrument with. Then I merely catch them in a tuned wave trap. And with a light valve and converter, I project the image on this little ground glass screen here and... Pat, Jerry, I've got it. I can see it.
Is it the island? Is it, Tex? What do you see?
It is growing dark. The magnificent yacht of Mrs. Patricia Gregory rides at anchor just off a mysterious bank of fog in the South Seas. On board the yacht, Mrs. Gregory, her business manager Tex Bradford, and their young companion Jerry Hall are eagerly trying an experiment. Bradford has just set up a unique piece of mechanism through which he can see over the horizon, or over a building and down into the street on the other side of it. Now the machine is focused on the strange fog bank, and behind this bank lies what? Will this prove to be the magic island?
What do you see, Tex?
Hold on, son. Don't get excited now. I think we've got something here.
Oh, please, Tex, may I look?
Well, of course, Pat. Go to it. You'll be next, Jerry.
I'm almost afraid to look. 14 years is a long time to look for something. We're almost afraid to find it then.
Go on, Mrs. Gregory. You'll never get Captain Bradford to tell us what he saw through that thing. Take a look for yourself. Gee whiz, if Joan is there, after you hunting for her for 14 years, you ought to be the first one to see her.
You're a gallant lad, Jerry. Oh, Tex, what did you see?
Nothing doing, Pat. Here, you look. I just got the range for you. But hurry now, it's nearly dark.
All right. Do I put my eye here?
That's it. Steady does it, Pat. I'll work that sextant just a hair's breadth if you want to.
Right.
Do you see anything, Mrs. Gregory?
Hush, kid.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I think I see a group of people. They aren't very clear yet. No, that's better. The whole island shines, as if it were polished stone or some kind of metal. Now I see the group more clearly.
Yeah? What else?
Jerry.
Yeah, I know, but...
Oh, Tex. Jerry,
She's fainted, kid. Run and get a glass of water out of my cabin. Hurry.
Yes, sir.
Pat, you're all right, Pat. Just take it easy for a minute. Jerry's getting you a glass of water. Pat. There, that's better, Pat. Where's that water, Jerry?
I'm coming.
Oh, what? Tex. Tex, I saw...
Is she all right now? Is she all right?
She'll be all right in a jiffy. Hand me that glass of water.
Here.
Where's the water?
Huh?
Where's the water?
Oh, golly. I drank it myself. I'll get some more.
It's a good thing you didn't need that water.
I'm all right. Silly of me to do that, wasn't it?
Nothing you could ever do would be silly to me, Pat, but just what got you so quick? You saw something?
Tex, I saw that group of people. They're real, and they're on an island all right, and... Oh, it's almost too much to believe, but I thought I saw a young girl with them.
I thought I saw the same. And for your sake, I hope we're both right.
Here's the glass with the water in it.
Thanks, Jerry. Now I feel better. That's the first time I ever felt like fainting.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I would have fainted if I hadn't used the first glass of water on myself. I could tell what you saw from the way you acted. May I look now?
Help yourself, son.
Boy, what a thrill this is. Now, let's see. Oh, looks kind of cloudy at first. There now. I can see better. This focus is easy enough. I got it. Gee, there's people there. People on the island right inside the fog. Whole bunches of them. But they're all men. No, they ain't. Hey, there's a girl with them. A girl, Mrs. Gregory.
Yes, Jerry, I saw that too, but don't hope too much.
Hope? Nothing. That's your little girl. I know it is. That's Joan. She looks just like you do.
Now, Jerry, I made that machine, and I happen to know you can't distinguish features at that distance.
I don't care about her features. I'm talking about what she looks like.
You better let me take another look, Jerry. It's getting dark. It's pitch black in 15 minutes. We won't get any twilight. Better learn what I can about our situation before we hole up for the night. All right now, Pat?
Quite all right.
I'll steady you up, Mrs. Gregory. You just hang on to my hand. I'm not nervous anymore.
Thank you, Jerry.
What do you see, Captain?
There's a group of people on the island, all right, and... Well, now, there's a funny one. They seem to be pointing something at us.
Bet they're going to shoot. Let's duck.
Oh. No, it looks more like a telescope. But it's something like that, and they know how to look through that fog. They see us all right. Some of them are waving their arms and pointing at us.
Well, we sure couldn't see anything through the fog. Good thing you had this machine for reflecting your rays against the air over the island and looking down on it.
From the way they're acting, it's obvious they see us and see us plainly.
Is there any danger, Tex?
I think not. At least not so long as we just ride at anchor. Here, see, something's happening.
What are they doing now?
They are not doing anything. At least not anything I can see, but the fog is. I've got it. They figured out that I'm watching them by means of rays refracted over the top of that fog. So they're closing it over the top.
Closing what over?
The island. All of it. You were right, Jerry. That fog is artificially made and perfectly controlled. Now they're covering up overhead with it. I can hardly see. That's all for now. They put a perfect roof of fog over that whole island, and it didn't take them more than 30 seconds to do it.
Then they did know we were watching them. Sure enough.
What do you think we ought to do now, Tex?
Nothing. Just nothing. It's nearly dark. There's no reason to fear anything, and they can't watch us any longer.
I'm getting a little chilly. Probably just nerves. It's anything but cold this evening.
Yeah, we'll go in the radio room and sit down and talk this thing over quietly. Oh, you're doing splendidly, Pat. I know what a strain you must be under.
This would be a strain for anybody. I'll go ahead and open the door.
I'll leave this straightoscope right here for the time. You take that easy chair, Pat.
All right.
Jerry, warm up the radio.
Oh, boy. Do I get to use it?
Go ahead, son. Let me know when it's warm, and I'll give you the message.
Now, Tex, tell me honestly. Do you think there's a chance that my little girl is on that island?
After what we've seen in the last 6 hours, there's a chance for anything. I've never had any hope that you would find little Joan. Everyone agreed that she must have drowned in that shipwreck. And 14 years is a long time without news of her.
But now, Tex, now, don't you see that there's some reason that may make those 14 years of silence possible? That island is weird. It's mysterious. It's almost what the old sailor said it was. A magic island.
Agreed. And for the first time, I'm willing to admit there is a chance. A mighty good chance that the little girl on the island could be Joan.
How can we find out, and how soon?
We'll have to take our time. For one thing, we don't know what that island represents. Nothing in the ordinary or usual run of islands, that's sure. With all their fog machines or whatever they use to hide the island with, and their magnetized circle to keep boats off, it might mean a lot of things. And they're most likely all bad.
I've got the set ready, Captain. What's the call?
Call Johnson at J12C as you did before. Sign your name in the yacht call, J24Y.
Okay. J12C, J12C, Jerry Hall on J24Y to J12C. Hello, J12. Hello, J12.
Now hold it, Jerry. He's got an automatic recording pickup there. And even if he's out of the room, he'll get a sustained curve on his frequency disturbance graph when he checks it.
You're the most mysterious folks I ever saw. You've got yachts as big as battleships, private radio stations on wavelengths nobody ever heard of, and call letters like a kid's club. What's it all about?
You promised not to ask that again till we were ready to tell you, Jerry.
I'm sorry. But you'll be sorry if I die of curiosity.
Nobody ever died of it yet.
Well, I don't feel any too good.
Hello, J24Y. Hello, J12C, Johnson. Go ahead, J24.
Here he is. What'll I tell him?
Give him our position. Make the story about the island brief. Ask him stand by. If we do not report all clear by tomorrow noon, he is to ask D.C. to rush full protection. Story is for publication. He can use own judgment. Shoot it, kid.
Right. Hello, J12C. Jerry Hall for Captain Bradford on J24Y. Are you ready?
Go ahead, Hall. Go ahead.
Located island, surrounded by fog camouflage. Standing by for daylight to try landing. Boat held off this evening by magnetic ring in ocean, probably 100 yards offshore. Our position is latitude 29.
Hey.
What's the matter, Skipper?
Danger.
What kind of danger?
Drifting.
Drifting? Well, what's the matter with your anchors?
Dragging.
Dragging the anchors? I don't hear any wind. What's going on?
Hurry.
Do I keep sending?
Stay right in there, son, no matter what happens. Stay with that radio and report in full to J12. Come on, Pat, we'll look around.
Are you still there, J12C? Hello, J12.
What happened? I can hear you very faintly, J24. Go ahead, Hall.
The boat is drifting. Captain Bradford and Mrs. Gregory have gone on deck with the skipper. No wind, calm sea, anchored in 3 fathoms, but drifting, dragging the anchors, no reason for it. Stand by for emergency flash. Got that? Hey, the lights are going out. Something's wrong.
Your signal is fading, J24. Standing by for emergency call. Are you getting me, J24? Hello, Hall. J12C to J24. Why, can you?
Oh, the set's gone dead, and the lights are all out. The same thing that happened before. I'd better get up on deck. Oh! Golly whiskers. That chair hurt my shins. Where's the handle on this door? Ah, there it is. Oh, boy. Hey, Tex, where are you?
Come up forward, Jerry.
Where are you? I can't see a thing.
Right here, you nearly bumped into us. Your juice quit on you, didn't it?
Yeah. Same thing we had today?
The skipper's working with the crew to get out a spare anchor over the stern, but we're already dragging 2 of them.
If it wasn't so dark, we might see what's happening.
All we can see is a funny gray color, and you can't see much of that.
Tex, Jerry, I think I can smell something unusual.
Huh? You're right. I smell a gas or a chemical of some kind.
I know why the sky's all gray, and I know what the smell is, too.
The fog. Is that it?
That's it. And we're drifting into that island.
We're going through the fog, Tex.
I know it. Look there. Dead ahead. See that faint glow?
It's a little lighter up there, and the fog isn't quite so thick. That fog is some kind of gas, by the smell.
Doesn't seem to affect us any, though.
We're drifting faster, aren't we? That glow of light is rapidly getting nearer.
I hope we don't smash into something before we get on the beach, or grab a pier, or a dock of some kind.
Why should we drift to the island? We tried for 2 hours to get through this fog with full speed ahead, and we couldn't move. Now we're drifting through it.
You don't drift and drag 2 anchors in 3 fathoms of still water, with no wind and no tide.
We're not drifting?
I'll say we're not drifting. That magnetism is working again, only stronger this time. We're being pulled. This boat is being dragged to that island.
The program you are about to hear is largely fiction, science fiction. We make no guarantees, however, how long it will remain fiction.
Exploring tomorrow.
And now here is your guide to these adventures of the mind, John Campbell, Jr.
The problem of dealing with robots is a rather peculiar thing. You know, when you deal with another human being, you can say, well, you know what I mean. And you can say, yeah, I see what you mean. When you're dealing with a robot, though, you have a different situation. If you say, you know what I mean, the robot says, no, tell me. The trouble with the robot is that it will always do exactly what you tell it, whether it makes sense or not. It has no judgment whatever. For instance, an automobile is a robot. You tell it to drive straight ahead. It drives straight ahead, right into the concrete bridge abutment.
It doesn't have any sense. Another thing, if we say home is the hunter, to a man this makes sense. We think of the poem as a quotation. What would such a phrase mean to a robot?
A report from James Martin, Special Agent to the Director of the United Nations Intelligence Service, February 19, 1993. Dear Chief, I hope you had a happy St. Valentine's Day. I wish I could say the same for myself. The way it looks now, the only Valentine I'll get will be one with my epitaph on it. I hope this report reaches you eventually. You may never get it, or if you do, I may be dead by then. Maybe it was a good idea to take this section of Europe and reform the country of Transylvania again, but right now I'm inclined to doubt it. Since Transylvania became a new country, there have been queer things going on here. As for your instructions, I got an appointment to see Baron Declitz, the Prime Minister. When the appointment came through, I was met at the front door of my hotel by Colonel Bronwick, the head of the Transylvanian Secret Police.
Ah, Mr. Martin. I was instructed to escort you to Castle Declitz. You have an appointment with the Baron, I believe.
Yes, that's right. And you are...
I am Colonel Bronwick at your service, Mr. Martin. Come. This is our limousine here at the curb.
Well, this is very kind of you, Colonel.
Kind? Not at all. It is my duty. You are an agent of the United Nations. It is therefore my duty to escort you about, especially when you are going to call on our Prime Minister, Baron Declitz.
I see. I suppose we'll have to wait for your chauffeur.
Oh, not at all, Mr. Martin. This is a robot-operated automobile. Observe. I merely press this button.
Yes, Colonel Bronwick.
Drive us to the Castle Declitz.
Yes, sir.
Well, Mr. Martin, do we not have all the modern conveniences here in Transylvania?
Oh, yes, very modern. You'll have telephones next. We have robot-operated machines in my country, too, Colonel, but I must admit that none of them are capable of talking as this one does.
You find that unusual?
Well, yes. A robot brain capable of conversation would be too large to fit in this automobile.
The brain is not in this car, Mr. Martin. This vehicle is guided by remote control. The actual brain of the robot is in an underground chamber beneath the Castle Declitz.
Oh?
Yes. The Baron's castle may look on the outside as though it were 1,000 years old, but the equipment within is quite modern.
Well, I have to admit that it's pretty convenient to have robot-operated remote-controlled transportation.
All of the Baron's transportation works this way. His cars, his aircraft, his boats, everything.
Sounds as though Baron Declitz runs the whole country by remote control. With a robot like that around, it's a wonder he needs any human helpers.
Mr. Martin, I will thank you not to criticize the government of Transylvania.
Sorry, I didn't mean to offend. After all, I am supposed to be a diplomat.
You might try harder, Mr. Martin.
Why is the car slowing down, Colonel?
Do you see the portcullis? That heavy steel grate that closes the entrance? That, too, is controlled by the robot brain.
The Baron certainly seems to be well guarded.
Very well guarded, indeed, Mr. Martin. It is difficult for anyone to get into Castle Declitz. It is even more difficult to get out.
Exploring Tomorrow continues in just a moment.
All of us as American citizens believe in our inherent liberties and freedoms, such as the freedom for educational, social, and economic opportunity. Our American system of education is the fertile soil which feeds the roots of democracy. By teaching us to think for ourselves, it has given us a deeper understanding of life around us and the ability to regulate our thoughts and opinions. But we must always be alert to the fact that with this freedom comes a responsibility, the responsibility of using our opportunities to their best advantage, so that we benefit from them not only as individuals, but as a united nation. Accept that responsibility and ensure your freedom.
United Nations agent Jim Martin had managed to get an appointment to see Baron Declitz, Prime Minister of the newly formed country of Transylvania. But now that he had gotten inside the Baron's castle, he was beginning to see what was wrong with the new country. Because the castle itself was nothing more nor less than a huge robot. He had managed to get inside a robot.
That castle was a real nightmare. There were hidden television cameras everywhere, and they all relayed everything they saw to that big brain in the cellar. No matter where a man might go in that castle, he was never out of the sight of those robotic eyes. Colonel Bronlick escorted me into a big, comfortable, ultra-modern room, told me to help myself to the sherry, and left me to wait for Baron Decklitz. I went over to the bar. But there were no glasses there, no bottle of sherry. I thought that maybe the colonel was having a little joke, when suddenly a voice came from a wall speaker.
What would you like to drink, sir?
Oh, a glass of sherry.
Yes, sir. Your sherry, sir.
A panel slid open in the wall, and a glass of sherry came out. Good evening, Mr. Martin. No. Don't bother to rise. Sit down. Now, how may I help you? Good evening, Your Excellency. May I present my identification? No, stop. Before you put your hand in your pocket, Mr. Martin, let me warn you not to try to draw a gun. I assure you that if you tried it, you would be detected by my robot and you would be shot down where you stand long before you could aim your own gun. A robot can think and act much faster than a human being can, Mr. Martin. Well, I didn't come here to kill you, Baron. I'm not an assassin. I'm here on United Nations business. Yes, I am aware of that. I merely wanted to warn you. And now, please, your identification. Yes, here it is, sir. Thank you. Yes, that seems to be in order. Now, what business does the United Nations have with the Prime Minister of Transylvania? Well, I'll be frank with you, Baron. There's something wrong here in Transylvania. The UN doesn't interfere with the internal government of its members unless the government is violating the basic rights of its citizens. Well, frankly, sir, Transylvania is doing just that. You impudent young swine! Transylvania is a scientifically run country. It is run by mathematically logical principles. All decisions of the government are analyzed carefully by robotic computers. Well, yes, but... You think I make the policy for the country? No! All policy decisions are made by the robots, so that they can be scientifically accurate. What happened? The lights went out. The power has been cut off. Someone... Oh, Martin, you shot me. You cut off the power so my robot could not operate. Baron, I will get you, Martin. When the lights came on again a second or two later, the Baron was sprawled on the floor. I looked around the room, but I couldn't see anyone. I hadn't shot the Baron. I didn't even carry a gun. Whoever had killed him made a clean getaway so far. I knew I had to get out of there, too. Just before the power went off, I'd been arguing with the Baron. When the robot came to, it would shoot me down with the hidden automatic guns in the walls. I had to get out of the Castle Decklitz. When I got outside, I saw that the steel gate in the side wall of the castle was open. Nearby was the car that had brought us in. The keys were in the ignition. I got inside fast. I gunned the car toward the gate. Just as I came near, the gate began to close. And just as I went through the gate, it slammed shut. I breathed easier after that. At least I'd managed to get out of the Castle Decklitz. But I'd forgotten one thing. When the car started to slow up, I pushed down harder on the accelerator. But it didn't help. Hey, what's going on? The car's turning around. I can't control it. It's taking me back to the castle.
A machine, no matter how complex and intelligent it may appear, is still a machine. And the trouble with a machine is that once it's set to do a particular job, it doesn't do any good to argue with it. The only way to stop it is to shut it off or wreck it. Jim Martin was in no position to do either. It was kind of like being in an automatic elevator with the controls stuck. It was going where it was going, and there wasn't anything you could do about it.
I knew I'd have to get out of that car. It wasn't going very fast yet, so I decided to jump before it got up too much speed. I rolled across the road. It shook me up a little to jump out of a moving car, but I wasn't hurt. I got up, brushed off the dirt, and started down the road toward the city. I was about 5 miles away through the thick forest and about 6 miles by road. I decided to follow the road. I didn't want to get lost. I'd been walking about 10 minutes when I heard a noise. It was a helicopter coming from the direction of the castle. I got off the road fast and hid under a tree. It was dark, and even with the moon shining, it would have been hard for a human being to spot me from the air. But the television eyes of that helicopter were sharper than human eyes. The robot saw me.
You must come back to the castle, sir.
Not me, Buster.
The helicopter will land. You will get in.
The moon lit up the helicopter pretty well. I could see the snouts of the mounted machine guns pointing at me, but I didn't care. I figured that going back to the castle would be certain death anyway. I jumped behind the tree and then dived under a nearby bush and started crawling.
Where are you? You must come back.
I just lay flat and kept quiet. And then I heard another sound on the road. There was a car coming.
Robert, this is Colonel Braunlick. I noticed the helicopter hovering, so I came immediately. Is the murderer Martin nearby?
Yes, he is somewhere in the woods to your right.
Excellent. I have a squad of men here. We will capture him.
Yes, he must go back to the castle.
All right, men. Spread out. Cover the whole area. He must be somewhere close by. Turn on the searchlight.
I knew they'd spot me soon. There was a spotlight moving near me. I decided that my only chance was to run for it. If I stayed where I was, I'd die. Here goes.
There he is! Stop him! Shoot him down!
It was the craziest gun battle I'd ever seen. Before the soldiers could shoot me, the helicopter's weapons had gunned them down. And while it was doing that, Colonel Braunlick had climbed back into his armored car and shot down the helicopter with the turret gun. And by the time the whole thing was over, I was well hidden in the underbrush. Pretty soon I heard the armored car drive away. But I just stayed where I was. It didn't make sense. Why had the robot's helicopter shot down the soldiers? Whose side was the robot on, anyway? I decided that since everything was quiet now, I'd better get moving. I wanted to get to the city by dawn. So I crawled out from my hiding place and headed for the road again. I didn't get far.
Put up your hands, Mr. Martin.
Colonel Braunlick, I didn't see you behind that tree. I thought you'd driven off in the armored car.
Oh, no. As soon as I shot down the helicopter, the robot brain took control of the car. I jumped out.
I suppose you're going to shoot me like you shot the Baron?
Of course. The robot is convinced that you killed the Baron. And so will the people of Transylvania be convinced. And I will proclaim myself the new Prime Minister.
No wonder this country's in trouble. The Baron was a crackpot, and so are you. What? Well, looks like the robot has another helicopter to operate.
Good. The robot can kill you and save me the trouble.
Well, I don't think so. Have you figured out why the other helicopter shot down your men instead of shooting down me?
An accident. The robot could not see well in the dark. Perhaps I should not have shot it down, but it was obviously faulty.
Oh, you're not thinking straight tonight, Colonel.
You must get in the helicopter, Mr. Martin. You must go back to the castle.
Oh, well, I'm afraid I can't do that. If I move, the Colonel will shoot me.
That cannot be permitted.
Well, thanks, Robert, old boy. That's the end of the man who shot the Baron.
That does not concern me. My orders are to bring you back alive. Get in the helicopter, please.
Anything you say, pal. Let's go. The helicopter took me back to the castle decklets. When it landed in the courtyard, the robot had more orders for me.
Go into the main hall. The Baron wants you.
I walked back to the room where the Baron had been shot. My hunch had been right. The Baron, stubborn old cuss, had refused to believe that he was dying. He wanted to teach me a lesson. So he'd given the robot orders to bring me back alive. Alive. So that meant that if anyone threatened my life, the robot would have to stop them. and it used its automatic machine guns to do it. It didn't matter to the robot that the Baron was dead. As long as the Baron's hand was on that control button, the robot had to obey its orders. It had hunted me down and brought me back. I walked over to the control panel and talked into the microphone. Robot, you will obey my orders now.
Yes, sir.
Very well. As soon as I leave here, you will cease operation. You will turn yourself off. You will never operate again. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now I'm going to go out and take one of the Baron's cars. He won't need it. Well, that about winds up the report, Chief. I hope I'll be able to deliver it to you. I'm in my hotel room right now, but there's rioting in the streets outside. Transylvania has been turned upside down. Nobody knows who killed their Prime Minister, Baron Declet, nor do they know who machine-gunned Colonel Bromley. But the worst trouble is with the robot. You see, the Baron had the idea he could run the whole country with a robot. It was supposed to be a scientific form of government. That robot ran almost everything in the whole area. It controlled the power plants, the telephones, transportation, even the garbage disposal. And ever since it shut itself off, nothing has worked in the whole country. As a result, Transylvania has no government and no organization. The idea of running a government by machine was a failure.
The trouble with a lot of very logical and honest people is that they think that logic is both necessary and sufficient, when it's really only necessary. The idea of a machine government was a failure. It always will be. Now, the trouble with the Baron was that he forgot one basic thing. It's sane for men to run machines, but it's insane for a machine to run men. Machines can handle truth and do a perfect job of it, but they cannot handle judgment. They have none.
Heard in our cast tonight were Larry Haynes and Don Douglas. Script was by Randall Garrett. Produced and directed by Sanford Marshall here in New York. Bill Maher speaking.
Presenting the transcription feature, Superman! Guys, look! It's a bird! It's a plane! It's Superman!
And now, Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who has come to Earth with physical powers far beyond those of mortal men, and who wages a never-ending battle against crime and oppression, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper. In an attempt to capture the Yellow Mask, dangerous international criminal, Kent, together with young Jimmy Olsen and Police Commissioner Malone, has tracked his quarry to a hideout in the woods, where Lois Lane, pretty girl reporter, is being held. But the mask was ready for them. Jimmy and the commissioner, entering through the front of the house, fell through a trapdoor into a deep concrete tank. A few minutes later, Kent and Lois Lane were lured to the same trap. As our story continues today, they have just fallen into the dark tank, unaware that Jimmy and the commissioner are already prisoners there. Listen.
Lois. Lois, you all right?
Oh, Clark.
Are you all right?
Yes, I think so. What happened?
We fell through a trap door.
Just like we did, Kent.
Commissioner Malone, is that you?
That's right, Kent.
Where's Jimmy?
I'm right here, Mr. Kent. Can't see anything. It's so dark.
Oh, hello, Miss Lane.
Why, hello, Jimmy. How on earth did you get down here?
We had same trapdoor. We heard Mr. Keg yelling for us, but we couldn't answer.
You couldn't? Why not?
The mask warned us not to. He threatened to wipe us out if we did. I thought it best not to take a chance. The man is a maniac. No telling what he'd do.
Oh. What's the matter, Commissioner?
He hurt his ankle.
No, it's nothing, Ken. Just a slight sprain.
Here, let me look at it.
I got some matches. I'll light one.
All right.
Here.
Pull it much higher, Jimmy.
It really isn't serious, Kent.
Oh, that ankle is more than sprained, Commissioner. Might even be broken. We've got to get you out of here.
Oh, don't worry about me. You have your hands full watching out for Jimmy and the young lady. How do you propose getting them out of this dungeon?
Well, I can climb up and open the trap door.
Oh, no, you can't. There are steel bars over the top of the tank.
Oh, how could there be? Lois and I fell through when the trap door gave way under us.
The steel bar slid across the top after you fell through. I'm afraid he's got us, Kent. Right where he wants us.
Well, what's going to happen when he doesn't find the jewels in the car?
Jewels in the car?
Yes, I told the mask the jewels were in the car. I wanted to get him outside alone.
Unfortunately, Mr. Kent, you are not successful.
Where's that voice coming from?
What difference does it make? All you are required to do is to listen to it. And listen carefully. This is your last chance. The last chance for all of you. I have reached the limit of my patience. You, Kent, and you, Commissioner Malone, are directly responsible for the lives of a young woman and a boy.
Don't let him threaten you that way, Clark. I'm not afraid.
Me neither.
Quiet.
I will give you one more opportunity to save those lives. Commissioner, where are the jewels?
Where you'll never lay hands on them.
Where are they?
You heard what I said.
Yes, but the answer to my question was not the one that I wish to hear.
Then I'll answer it. The jewels are locked in a safe at police headquarters. Does that satisfy you?
Perfectly, Mr. King. Now, perhaps, we can indulge in a little bargaining.
I don't bargain with rats.
Let him talk, Commissioner.
Yes. Permit me to speak my little piece.
The match.
Now, as I was saying, you are all completely in my power. Unless you do as I say, the end is not far off. Soon you will need water to moisten your parched lips, and food to fill the aching void of your stomach. Soon you will grow weak from thirst and hunger. Are you listening? No sense of lighting matches, Kent. Both my voice and I are well beyond reach. Resign yourself to the predicament you are in.
All right. What do you want?
You know what I want. The jewels now reposing in the commissioner's secret headquarters.
How do you expect us to get them for you, even if we agreed to?
I have provided for that. Lefty, open the trapdoor. Lefty is about to lower a telephone into your cozy little prison. Commissioner Malone will call his office at headquarters and instruct one man to deliver the jewels to a place I designate.
You're mad if you think I'll do that.
We shall see how mad I am. Lower the phone, Lefty. There it is, Kent. Dangling in front of you. I will give the commissioner 60 seconds to make up his mind. Remember, just 60.
You can make it 60 hours for all the good it'll do.
Don't lose your head, Commissioner. Got to think this thing out.
It doesn't take any thinking, Kent. I'll starve to death before I'll get into that maniac. Does he imagine for one moment that I would call headquarters and arrange for those jewels to be delivered here to him? If he does, he's crazier than I thought.
I grant you he's crazy. That makes him all the more dangerous. You may have to agree to do as he says, at least temporarily.
What do you mean?
The minute is up. Have you made up your mind, Commissioner?
Yes, and it hasn't changed.
Refuse to call your office and have the jewels delivered to me?
Absolutely.
Very well.
Yes, I know.
What are you talking about now, Ware? If this is a trick, you will all suffer for it.
It's no trick. Go ahead, Commissioner.
I'm doing this against my better judgment, Kent. Give me Metropolitan 4000.
You are to instruct one man to deliver the jewels to the crossroads, 1 mile beyond the Harley River Bridge. He is to come unarmed. If you issue any other instructions, you will sign the death warrants of 4 people. You understand?
Hello. This is Commissioner Malone. Connect me with Captain Sullivan.
I shouldn't be doing this.
All right, believe me.
Hello, Sullivan. I want you to do something for me. You're remember that suitcase we put in the custodian's safe? Yes. Yes, the one with the jewels. Sullivan, I want you to get it and bring it to me.
Tell him he's to come alone, Commissioner.
You're to come alone, Sullivan.
And unarmed.
Don't carry a gun, Sullivan. Oh, never mind why. Do as I tell you. Now listen while I give you your directions. Take Route 14 to the crossroads a mile beyond the... Unable to change into Superman without revealing himself to Lois, Jimmy, and Malone, Clark Kent stands by while the police commissioner orders the jewels to be brought to the Yellow Mask. But evidently, Kent has some plan in mind. In the meantime, the Mask has sent his henchmen, Lefty and Joe, to stop the police car at the crossroads. They crouch in the darkness as the car approaches. Suddenly, they leap to the center of the road, waving flashlights.
Okay, copper, get him up. Who are you? Never mind, get him up.
No, wait a minute.
We ain't got no time to wait. Let him have it, Joe.
Right, Lefty.
Right on the cunt. Nice work, Joe. Where's the suitcase?
Here.
All right, let me have it. Holy smoke, she's heavy. Let's see what's inside. Flash your light, Joe.
Okay.
Lamp that ice.
What a haul.
Why, this sparkler alone must be worth 10 grand if it's worth a nickel. Now, look at this one. Hey, Joe. I got an idea.
Yeah?
I got an idea we ain't turning this stuff over to the Mask.
Oh, what do you mean?
I mean we're keeping it for ourselves. I know a fence will give us better than 100 G's for it. That's 50 G's each.
Yeah, but...
There ain't no buts. The stuff don't belong to him. He got it the same way we're getting it.
Ain't that a double cross, Lefty?
So what? Come on, we're scrambling with this stuff. Haul the copper out of his car. We'll take it. Okay, go on, dump him in the bushes. That's it. Now get in. Make it fast. I've been waiting a long time for something like this.
Well, I may be stupid, Kent, but I still don't understand why you forced me to make that call to headquarters and have Sullivan bring the jewels. What do you expect to accomplish?
Keep your voice down, Commissioner. The Mask probably has a dictograph planted somewhere in this concrete tank. Anyway, Lois and Jimmy have dozed off. Sheer exhaustion.
Well, I'm not a bit surprised.
Oh, neither am I.
Kent, these last few days have been a nightmare. And then to have it end up with all four of us imprisoned in this tank with no hope of escape.
I wouldn't say that.
You mean you think the Mask will release us once he gets the jewels? Oh, don't be a fool, Kent. I know his kind. I've dealt with him for 30 years.
No, I don't expect him to release us.
Then why? Why did you insist that I obey his orders and have the jewels presented to him on a silver platter?
Because the only way we'll ever convict him is to catch him with the goods.
But good heavens, man. How can we convict him if we can't even lay our hands on him? Kent, I believe you're out of your mind.
Not quite, Commissioner. How long has it been since you made that call to headquarters?
Over an hour.
Uh-huh. Captain Sullivan should be at the crossroads by now.
And then what?
Our friend the Mask will be in for a little surprise. Why don't you try to get some sleep, Commissioner?
Sleep?
Yes.
With my ankle throbbing the way it is?
Oh, that's right. I forgot about your ankle. Does it hurt much?
Well, enough, Kent. Hey, what do you mean by a surprise?
I can't tell you now, Commissioner.
That's what you've been saying all along. Don't you think I have a right to know what's going on?
Be quiet. You're talking too loud. Jimmy's awake.
Hey, where am I? What's happened?
Everything's okay, Jimmy. Go on to sleep. This much I can tell you, Commissioner. And you'll have to trust me for the rest. Once Captain Sullivan delivers the jewels, the Yellow Mask is in for a surprise. The biggest surprise of his life.
If Clark Kent is counting on the jewels being delivered to the Yellow Mask, he, too, is in for a surprise. For this very moment, Lefty and Joe are speeding towards the city with the precious gems. What will happen when the Mask discovers he has been double-crossed? Tune in next time and follow the story with Superman.
And remember, tune in the next thrilling installment of the transcription feature, Superman.
Up in the sky. Look, it's a plane. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine. The transcription feature, Superman.
The sky! Look, it's a bird!
It's a plane! It's Superman!
And now, Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who has come to Earth with physical powers far beyond those of mortal men, and who fights a never-ending battle against crime and oppression, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper. Unable, without revealing himself as Superman, to rescue Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, and Police Commissioner Malone from a concrete tank in which the Yellow Mask had trapped them, Kent persuaded the commissioner to accept the mask's proposition. A telephone was lowered into the tank, and the commissioner called police headquarters, instructing one of his men, Captain Sullivan, to deliver a fortune in jewels to the mask in return for their freedom. As our story continues today, Lois and Jimmy have fallen asleep in the concrete tank, while Kent and the commissioner await developments. Suddenly, the masked voice comes to them out of a hidden loudspeaker. Listen.
I warn you, Kent, if there has been any trickery, none of you will live to gloat over it.
How could there be any trickery? You heard Commissioner Malone talk to Captain Sullivan at headquarters. He told him to bring the jewels just as you instructed.
Yes, I heard that. But more than an hour has gone by since the telephone call was made. Where are the jewels?
Sullivan may have been delayed. Or maybe he's waiting at the crossroads now.
I've had two of my men out to meet him. They haven't returned.
That's not our business. We did as you said. Personally, I hope you never get the jewels. You're nothing but a thieving, half-mad murderer. And if it's the last thing I do, I'm going to see you burn in the electric chair.
Commissioner, please.
Really?
Lois and Jimmy are sleeping. Try not to wake them up. They need all the rest they can
On
get.
the contrary, Commissioner Malone, I think I shall have the pleasure of seeing you burn.
What does he mean? Just an idle threat.
The jewels will be here shortly.
I hope so, for all your sakes. I will return in 5 minutes.
Keep your voice down, Commissioner. I'd give my right eye to get my hands around his neck for just 10 seconds. Well, you still may have that opportunity. Kent, do you really think that we'll ever get out of here alive? Of course. Once the jewels arrive. Oh, yes. You mentioned something about a surprise for the mask once the jewels got here. What did you mean? You'll find out. Just have a little patience.
All the patience in the world will not reward Commissioner Malone. For unknown to Kent, the two men, Lefty and Joe, sent to the crossroads to meet Captain Sullivan, have double-crossed the Yellow Mask, and are at this very moment speeding toward the city in Sullivan's squad car with the jewels. The police captain, left unconscious in the bushes at the side of the road, has recovered sufficiently to stagger to his feet and attempt to flag a passing car.
I'm Captain Sullivan of the City Police. Yeah? Two men knocked me out and stole my car.
Good heavens.
Can you get me to the telephone?
Sure.
Hop in. Thanks. Hello. Hello, operator. There's an emergency. Get me police headquarters. Sergeant Henley. Hello, Henley. Now listen carefully. This is Captain Sullivan. That's right, listen. I'm at Cedar Falls. Two men held me up, knocked me out, and stole the squad car. Yes, they got the jewels, too. Sent out a general alarm. What? No, I couldn't see either of them. It was too dark. Too dark, I tell you. Now get that alarm out before they hit the city. Yes, that's where they were headed. Now don't waste any time, Henry. We've got some Hey, take it easy, Lefty. You're doing 70.
Sure, this cop buggy can travel. You ain't nervous, Joe, are you?
No, but if you blow a tire, we're cooked.
Well, I gotta make time with all this hot ice in the car. Hey, listen. Turn the radio on. Get some swing music. That'll take your mind off getting killed.
Oh, you can't get music on this kind of a radio. It's a shortwave set for police orders.
Well, turn it on anyway. Let's hear what the bull's got to say. I never thought I'd be driving a police buggy. Not in a million years.
General alarm 683W.
Listen.
Stop on sight. Squad car number 6.
See, none but cops orders.
Shut up.
Squad car number 6, license 58-32. Old man who was driving and his companion.
What are you stopping for?
He's talking about this car. Listen.
I will repeat. General Alarm 683W. Stop on site, squad car number 6. License 58-32. Old man who was driving and his companion. That is all.
Turn it off.
What are we going to do?
I don't know, but there's one thing you can lay money on. We ain't driving this buggy into the city. You got your gun?
Yeah.
Okay, grab the suitcase and hop out. We'll roll this buggy off the road and down that incline. Then we'll stop the first car comes along and take it over. Come on. All right, come on back here and give her a push. She's rolling. Now a good one. There she goes. They won't find that jalopy for a long time. Hey, it's lucky we turned that radio on.
Lefty, I think I hear a car coming.
Yeah, you're right. Get over on the other side of the road. Flag him down with your light, but keep your gat handy in case it's a cop.
Okay.
He's coming fast. Start waving your light. He ain't gonna stop. Hey, you lunkhead, what'd you shoot for?
I see he wasn't stopping. I figured I'd scare him.
Yeah, so what did you do? You let him know there's a guy on the road here with a gat. He'll tell that to the first copper he meets, and before you know it, this place will be crawling with dicks. Grab that suitcase. We're heading cross-country through the woods. It ain't healthy around here no more.
This is Bill Breen, your radio reporter. One of the greatest manhunts in the history of the state is now in progress. More than 150 hand-picked members of the police department are searching for 2 armed desperados who held up a police squad car. Bludgeoned Captain Michael Sullivan into unconsciousness and escaped in the car. Officials will neither confirm nor deny the report that a fortune in jewels was being transported by Captain Sullivan and was stolen with the car. Possible clue to the whereabouts of the wanted men was provided by a motorist who reported he'd been shot at while driving along Route 14 near the Holly River Bridge. Police Commissioner Charles Malone, who's been mysteriously absent from his office for 2 days, could not be reached for a statement. Keep tuned to this station for further news.
Sure was tough hiking through them woods, Lefty.
Well, who told you to shoot at that car?
Oh, you don't have to keep talking about it, do you?
All right. What's that light up ahead?
Must be a farmhouse.
Well, we got to get a car and get one fast. Maybe the farmer's got a jalopy. Come on, we sneak up behind the house.
Hey, is that a car standing in the yard?
Yeah, tin can.
What's the difference as long as it runs?
There ain't no difference. Look and see if it's got a key in it.
No key.
Maybe we got to get the key. Give me your gun. I don't trust you no more. Follow me. Wait a minute. Take a gander through the window.
See anything?
Yeah. No geezer sitting by the stove.
Nobody else?
That's all. We're in luck. Come on. Okay. Open the door. All right, get your hands up, Pop. Where's the key to that jalopy you got standing out in the yard?
Now, listen, you got... Oh.
What'd you knock him down for? I got to get the key to his car.
There it is, Lefty. On the table.
Oh, well, grab it.
I got it.
Thanks, Pop. So long. All right, hop in, fast. Hope I can get this crate started.
There she goes.
Closing in on the 2 desperados who early tonight stole a squad car rumored to have been carrying a fortune in jewels. Curtis W. Bailey, a farmer in Harley Falls, informed the authorities his 1933 car was stolen scarcely an hour ago by 2 armed men. He gave the police a description of the men, and their arrest is expected soon. Keep tuned to this station.
Kent, I can't stand this much longer. My ankle is killing me.
Let me look at it.
Oh, that won't do any good.
How long have we been down in this dark hole? It seems like days.
Oh, just a few hours. I'll light a match and look at your ankle. Swelling doesn't seem to have gone down any.
It's broken. Don't touch it.
Oh, wait a minute. Now, maybe I can set it for you.
Can't.
Take it easy now.
No.
Wait a minute.
Oh.
Oh, it's a shame. Wait. That's a stroke of luck for us. Now, with Lois and Jimmy asleep, and Malone out for a while, I can break through this concrete as
Superman. This corner looks as good a place as any. What did the mask say? It was 6 feet thick? That shouldn't stop me. Here goes. Gotta take it easy. Don't want to wake Lois or Jimmy. Giving. There. That does it. A hole big enough to crawl through. What's that? Malone's coming too. I'll have to change back to Clark Kent.
Kent. Where are you?
Right here, Commissioner.
And you'd better stay right there, Mr. Kent.
What?
I've got a double-barrel shotgun in my hands, and I'll blow everyone in that tank to kingdom come if you move an inch.
Does the mask know that Superman has forced an exit from the concrete tank? And what can Kent do now with escape so near and yet so far? Don't forget to tune in next time for the thrilling conclusion of the story with Superman.
And remember, tune in the next thrilling installment of the transcription feature, Superman.
Up in the sky. Look! It's a plane! It's a plane! It's Superman!
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine.
Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invite you to rocket into the future with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0! As roaring rockets blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Rocketing through the inky blackness of space far out in the asteroid belt, the Polaris suddenly picks up a radio call from Dr. Joan Dale, revealing that she and Cadet Roger Manning are on asteroid 2049. Then, just as suddenly, her voice is drowned out by static. Now, on the control deck, Tom Corbett and Captain Strong work frantically to reestablish contact.
Rocket Cruiser Polaris to Dr. Joan Dale. This is Tom Corbett on the Polaris. Can you read me, Dr. Dale? Come in. Come in.
Hello, Polaris. This is Dr. Dale.
We've got her again, Captain Strong.
Good, I'll take over. Hello, Joan. This is Steve. Your rocket scout just exploded out here in space. How in the universe did you and Manning manage to abandon that ship and get to the asteroid?
We didn't abandon the ship, Steve. When Roger and I landed here, Mason and his men took us prisoner.
Joan, I don't understand. Why should Mason take you prisoners?
Well, he's learned that the ore he was sent here to mine is extremely valuable, so he's been strip mining. Selling the ore privately to line his own pockets.
I see.
He and his men were loading a privately owned freighter when we arrived. We caught them red-handed.
Where are you transmitting from, Joan? How did you get to a set?
We're locked up in a tool shed where their spare equipment is stored. Roger and I finally succeeded in rigging up this radio. Steve, you're our only hope. You've got to help us.
We're on our way, Joan.
And, Steve, another thing.
Yes?
In case anything goes wrong, I don't...
Hello, Joan? Joan, come in. What happened to the receiver, Tom?
Well, nothing, far as I can see, Captain
Well,
Strong.
check the circuit.
Oh, the circuit's all right, sir. She just isn't sending.
Well, try to raise her again.
Aye, sir. Polaris calling Dr. Joan Dale on asteroid 2049. Polaris calling Joan Dale on asteroid 2049. Come in, Dr. Dale. We aren't reading you.
Polaris to Dr. Dale. Come in. Come in.
Hello, Polaris. Can you hear me?
Yes, this is the Polaris.
Is that you, Captain Strong?
Strong here, yes.
Listen, Strong, this is Greg Mason on Asteroid 2049.
What have you done with Dr. Dale and Cadet Manning?
Stop using your tubes, Strong. They're still healthy. I just had to close the lady's mouth. She talks too much.
What do you hope to gain by this, Mason?
A fortune, Captain, and the freedom to enjoy it. Now get this and get it straight. We're going to monitor your space transmitter from now on. Stay away from here, and don't try to send a report to any ship. Is that clear?
And if we do?
Then it will be curtains for these two friends of yours. You'll never see them again, alive.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
Say, Spaceman, did you ever go to a briefing session? Well, that's what the cadets at Space Academy do before each space flight. All the cadets on that flight meet in the ready room. Then the commander of the flight gives them their instructions about the mission. Well, one day, Captain Strong was telling the cadets about it.
All right, now, settle down, everybody. Now, that's better. Now, you all know your jobs. We'll start blasting off at 0800 hours. Blast off at 3-minute intervals in the order assigned and head for the rendezvous point. And one thing more. Don't stay in the sack and miss breakfast. You'll need your wits about you, and you'll need lots of energy. So get down to that mess hall early and put away a good breakfast. I suggest you belt away lots of Kellogg's Pep, for one thing. Pep gives you plenty of vitamins, plenty of good food values, plenty of energy food to call on. Vitamins B1 and D help keep you on your toes. So make sure you're getting your share. Some of you ought to have second helpings of Pep on that score alone. Besides, Pep tastes so downright good you'll ask for a second bowl anyway. Just make sure you leave some for me. That's all. Cadets, take that. Dismissed.
Well, I think Captain Strong had better get to that mess hall early himself. You know, Pep really makes a hit at the breakfast table. You spacemen out there, try Kellogg's Pep yourself. See how absolutely swell a cereal can be. You'll be just like cadets here at Space Academy if you sit down to the spaceman cereal, Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
While transmitting a message to the Polaris for help, Dr. Joan Dale and Cadet Roger Manning are surprised by Greg Mason, the mining engineer who was holding them prisoner on Asteroid 2049. Mason then warns Captain Strong that if he attempts to land on the asteroid or contact the Solar Guard, Joan and Manning will be killed. Now, several hours have passed, and Captain Strong and the Space Cadets are near Asteroid 2049, hoping to find a way to rescue their friends.
We're within radar range of Asteroid 2049, Captain Strong. What's our next move?
I don't know, Tom. I half expected Mason to warn us off again.
Well, there hasn't been a word from him since he warned us to keep away. And we'll be in visual contact in another minute or so. Shall we alter course?
No. Let's hold her steady. I'd like to bait Mason into establishing radio contact again.
Well, sir, we're coming into visual range of the asteroid now.
Get a fix on it with the forward scanner, Tom.
Yes, sir.
Control deck to power deck. Check in.
Power deck aye. And Astro here.
Astro, fire braking rockets 1 and 2.
Are we going to land, sir?
I don't know yet. Just stand by.
Aye, sir.
Captain Strong.
Oh, what's the trouble, Tom?
Look here in the forward scanner. There's no sign of the space freighter anywhere. The asteroid is deserted. I've been through the whole camp, Captain Strong. It's empty. Even the supplies are gone.
How about you, Astro?
Well, I didn't find anybody, if that's what you mean, sir, but I did notice something else.
What's that?
The ore veins in the mine are all played out, sir. There's nothing down there to mine.
No? Well, beginning to make sense now.
How do you mean, sir?
Well, Mason and his men must have been just about ready to close up operations here when Joan and Roger arrived and found out what they were up to.
So now they've cleared out and have the whole universe to hide in.
Which means we'll never find them now.
Not unless Joan and Roger left some kind of clue for us.
Well, but they didn't, Captain. We've searched every square inch of this asteroid.
Say, wait a minute, Astro. Remember when Dr. Dale first gave us that lab lecture on this ore?
Sure. What about it?
Remember she said it was very scarce, only 2 known sources?
Yeah, that's right. Asteroid 2049 and a twin. I forget which one it was now.
Number 2046.
What are you getting at, Tom?
Well, it's just a wild hunch, sir, but suppose Dr. Dale told Mason about the twin.
Why should she?
To keep Mason from killing her and Roger. He'd have no reason to keep prisoners with this mine played out.
Sure, and if she told him there was another deposit of that ore, Mason wouldn't lose any time blasting off to find it.
And he'd save valuable time by taking Joan along to help him.
And he's still safe with Dr. Dale and Roger as hostages.
Yeah, but all this leaves us just where we were before. If we try to land on the asteroid, he'd just carry out his threat to kill them.
Well, let's jump our hurdles one at a time. The first thing we have to do is to find Mason. Get back aboard the Polaris, boys, and prepare to blast off.
Well, Dr. Dale, you can thank your friends for keeping their word. So far, they haven't reported what's happened to you and Manning.
How long do you think you can get away with this, Mason? You're bound to be caught sooner or later.
That's right, Mason. You haven't a chance. If you were smart, you'd give yourself up to the Solar Guard. Maybe they'd be easy on you.
You're space-happy, Manning. I've got everything under control. As soon as my men strip this asteroid of its ore, we're blasting off in this freighter for outer space.
What about us?
You needn't worry, Manning. You and Dr. Dale won't have to make the trip.
You're darn right we won't.
Tommy! Come in here! Quick!
I've just been waiting for a chance like this, Mason.
Roger, look out! Behind you!
Grab him, Tommy. Let go of my arms, you slimy space nut.
That's it, Tommy. Pin him down.
Dirty space crawlers, I'll take on both of you.
Not now, you won't, Manning.
Let go of me.
And since you won't behave, we'll teach you how. Take them below, Tully, and put them in irons.
There it is, Captain Strong. I've got asteroid 2046 on the radar.
All right, Tom. Hold this course. It will keep us outside their radar scanners.
But what are we going to do now, sir? How are we going to help Dr. Dale and Roger if we can't get any closer to the asteroid than this?
We've got to figure out a way to evade Mason's radar first, Astro.
That's going to be tough, sir. Even if we circle the asteroid and come up on the other side of his mining camp, his sonar equipment will pick up our rocket blast.
Hey, wait a minute. I've got an idea. Suppose we let them pick us up on their radar.
Are you crazy, Astro?
Maybe, but the way I figure it, Tom, if we alert them that way, they'll keep the radar on the Polaris to watch every move we make, right?
We can be sure of that, Astro.
Fine. Then the Polaris will act as a decoy. And while you keep the ship on a course just inside Mason's radar screen, sir, Tom and I could take the jet boat, land on the other side of the asteroid, and take them by surprise.
Sounds pretty risky, Astro. Even if you were able to find Joan and Roger, you could never get off the asteroid with them in a jet boat. Mason could shoot you down before you got back to the Polaris.
I think I've got the answer to that, sir. Give Astro and me a certain time limit to find Dr. Dale and Roger and get them away from the freighter. Then you close in and fire a space torpedo at Mason's ship.
Suppose you didn't find Joan and Roger in the allotted time.
We could signal you after we found it.
An infrared signal flare would do it, sir.
When you see the signal, wait exactly 10 minutes, and then fire the torpedo.
Hey, wait a minute. There's one thing I forgot.
What's that, Astro?
Even though they've got the radar on the Polaris, their sonar will pick up the sound of the jets in the boat.
There's a way out of that, I think, Astro. Judging by the size of asteroid 2046, the gravitational pull ought to be pretty slight.
We can find out easily enough. Wait a minute. I'll check the master chart.
Shouldn't be much different from the other one. They're about the same size.
You're right, Astro. It's .005. Why, we could land the jet boat without using any braking power at all.
We'd just float down to the surface. Our fall would be as easy as a parachute landing back on Earth.
Well, seems to add up to a workable plan.
It's the only chance we've got, sir.
All right. Jump into your space gear, boys, and grab a couple of parallel rays. You'll shove off in 5 minutes.
Hold on, Astro. We're going to touch down, and we just might hit a little harder than we figured.
We'll know in a second, Tom. Here goes.
Not bad. Hardly jarred us. Okay, put your space helmet on and let's get moving.
Right.
All set. Open the hatch.
Come on. We've got a small-sized hike ahead of us.
It won't take us long. With this gravity, you can jump 10 or 15 feet at a time.
I imagine they'll be using their space freighter for headquarters. I doubt if they take the time to put up a regular camp.
Okay, then, let's head for her. You can see her nose just over the horizon.
So far, so good, Astro. We haven't been spotted yet.
And there's the ship. The crew is unloading something from the aft hatch.
Mining equipment. Our hunch was right. They're going to take as much of this ore with them as they can.
Where do you think we'll find Dr. Dale and Roger?
On the ship somewhere. Doesn't that type of freighter have a hatch on the other side of the hull?
Most of them do. It's an escape hatch in case of a runaway reactor pile. It should lead right to the power deck.
Good. We'll give it a try. Come on.
Careful, Astro. We may run into somebody in this companionway.
I'll be ready for him. Hey, wait. Let's check this compartment.
Okay, open the bulkhead door, but take it easy.
There you are. Kind of dark.
I'll go in first. You cover me from here until I find out what's in there.
Go ahead.
Why don't you space crawlers leave us alone?
Roger!
Huh? Who's there?
What's the matter? Don't you recognize me?
Tom, by all the moons of Jupiter.
How did you get here?
No time to explain now, Dr. Dale. We've got to blast out of here.
We can't, Junior. They've got us in irons.
Oh? Well, we can carve you out of those. Hey, Astro.
Hey, Tom. Any luck?
Yeah, I found them. Get outside and fire that flare.
Okay. I'll wait for you at the airlock. And tell Manning if he doesn't behave, we'll leave him behind.
Go on, you Venusian ape. I think I'll stay here.
Boys, this is no time for kidding. Corbett, can you get us out of these irons?
There's an electronic switch controlling them, Tom, but I don't know where it is.
Well, we won't bother with the switch. I'll just short-circuit the connection. And listen, as soon as you're free, find a couple of spacesuits. After Astro fires that flare, we only have 10 minutes to get clear of this ship. Here's the airlock. Put your space helmets on.
Let me help you, Dr. Dale.
Thank you, Manning. I can manage.
Ready?
Yes, Corbett.
Lead the way, Junior. Hey, where's Astro? I thought he was going to meet us here.
Probably outside. Equalize pressure, will you, Roger?
Right.
Tom, why did you send Astro outside to fire a flare?
To let Captain Strong know we found you, ma'am. And have him fire a space torpedo at this ship.
A space torpedo?
Don't fuse your tubes, Roger. It's a timed operation. 10 minutes after he gets the signal, he'll fire. That'll give us time to clear the freighter.
Well, it's been at least 5 minutes since Astro left. We've got to make tracks.
4 minutes and 30 seconds exactly, Roger. Don't worry. I'm keeping track of the time. We ought to make it easy. Okay. Pressure's equalized.
I'll open the outer portal.
Right.
Come on, Dr. Dale.
You see Astro?
Yeah, there he is. Hey, Astro.
Astro, is everything okay?
What's the matter with him? Why doesn't he answer us?
Hey, he looks kind of funny to me. He isn't even moving.
Great jumping Jupiter. He's been frozen by a parallel ray.
You're absolutely right, honey.
Huh?
Mason, drop that parallel ray, kid, or you'll be frosted.
Why,
No, Tom, don't.
Okay. Here you are, Mason.
Well, you're showing some sense, finally. More than that big hulk over there did.
Okay, so you got it. Now let him go.
All right. There.
Astro, you all right?
Oh, sure. But it sure felt awful to just stand here and see you walk into a trap.
How did it happen, Astro?
Mason and his crew just surprised me, that's all. Jumped me right after I fired the flare.
You weren't very smart, boys. You should have figured I'd send out patrols and that I'd find your jet boat.
But, Astro, you did fire the flare.
Yeah, exactly 5 minutes ago.
Well, looks like you've got a tiger by the tail, Mason.
What are you talking about?
In 5 minutes, this ship is going to be blown into space junk. You'd better let us go.
Ha! Still playing games, eh? Get back inside right now. If this ship is blasted, you'll be blasted with it.
We'll return return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment, so stand by.
Spaceman, everybody's having fun with the Magic Eye, the swell prize you get in every package of Kellogg's Pep. Everywhere you go, you see spacemen trading Magic Eyes, playing games with them, using them for decorations on hats, belts, and jackets. It's really fun. So, if you haven't started your Magic Eye collection yet, there's not a minute to lose. You know, Magic Eyes are those swell plastic discs with the moving pictures on them. When you tilt them up and down, the picture actually changes back and forth. Trains go smoking down the track. Planes go streaking through the clouds. And your favorite stars of movies, sports, and radio entertain you. Paramount star Bob Hope swings a baseball bat. Clyde Beatty cracks a whip. Paramount star Bill Holden works the submarine periscope. Every Magic Eye is packed with action. And you can get as many as 16 different Magic Eye pictures. There's no waiting, no box tops, no mailing. Just get a package of Kellogg's Pep at your grocery store and open it up. You'll find a Magic Eye right inside, free at no extra cost. And remember, at the same time you get a Magic Eye, you'll be getting a swell-tasting cereal, too, which makes it a double bargain. So don't delay. For a Magic Eye and a swell cereal, ask Mom to get Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
Their daring attempt to rescue Dr. Joan Dale and Roger Manning a failure, Tom and Astro find themselves in deadly danger as Mason orders them back into the space freighter, refusing to believe that Captain Strong has fired a space torpedo at the ship. Now, as he stands in the open airlock, Tom pleads with Mason.
You've got to believe me, Mason. In less than 3 minutes, this ship will be blasted off the asteroid.
You're wasting your breath, kid. I don't fall for schoolboy tricks. Now go on. Get into that airlock, all of you.
Only 2.5 minutes now.
Shut up, you.
Do you know what will happen when that space torpedo hits Mason? It not only will blast the freighter apart, it'll kill everyone in 100 yards radius.
Which means you and your crew will get it too, Mason.
One more word out of you.
Why do you suppose Astro fired that flare? That's when you caught him, Mason.
I didn't see any flare.
It was an infrared flare. You couldn't see it without special goggles.
1 minute and 45 seconds, Mason. Remember, you'll get it too.
Look at your crew. They believe it. Look at them. They're backing off.
Hey, come back here. Come back, you lily-livered space fighter.
They're smarter than you are, Mason. They want to live.
1 minute and 30 seconds. It'll take us time to get away from the ship.
Ah, you're not going to trick me.
You've only got one way of finding out if this is a trick. Stay here. You'll either win or be spaced out.
1 minute and 15 seconds.
And that torpedo has your name on it, too, Mason. You'll never get away now. There isn't time.
You're all alone with us now, pal. Look at the way your crew is running.
Yeah, now they'll make all the money out of this asteroid, not you.
You rotten space crawlers, come back here. Come back!
Roger, Tom, now!
You let go of me! Let go!
We're just taking this gun away now.
Get it, Tom.
Yep.
I have it.
No, don't shoot! Don't leave me here!
We won't. Start running. This is your only chance. Less than 20 seconds before the torpedo hits.
Come on, boys, run! Run!
Head east, Mason. That's where the jet boat is.
Who cares? Let's just get where the torpedo is and blast your tubes, all of you. It'll hit any second.
Rocket Cruiser Polaris calling Space Academy Earth. We have found Dr. Dale and Cadet Manning. All hands are safe, and we are returning to base at once. Over and out.
Corbett, that message sounded like sweet music to me.
Joan, why don't you go below and try to get some rest?
Oh, I'm fine here, Steve. Just fine.
But I still don't see how you managed to get back to the jet boat.
It was easy, Skipper. First of all, with the low gravity, we covered 20 feet in one jump. And then when that torpedo hit the freighter, Mason and his men were so busy trying to get away, they didn't pay any attention to us.
What are you going to do about Mason and the crew, sir? They're stranded on the asteroid now.
Not for long. As soon as I saw your jet boat blast off, I contacted Solar Guard headquarters on Mars. They're sending a ship out to pick them up.
Yeah, and then Mason can spend plenty of time looking for ore, cracking rocks on the prison asteroid.
the next action-packed adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, on Tuesday, when the crew of the Polaris blasts off on a vacation, only to encounter mystery and danger as they battle the giants of Mercury. Tune in, same time, same station on Tuesday for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal.
Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in today's cast were Jan Merlin, Al Markham, Edward Bryce, and Margaret Garland. Today's program was written by Gilbert Braun, directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Beck speaking.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret. Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
And what a secret! In Kellogg's Raisin Bran, the tasty raisins are dipped in honeycomb. That means plumper, more tender raisins, along with delicious golden crisp bran flakes. Both fruit and cereal, all in one box. And no other raisin bran but Kellogg's gives you the tender goodness of raisins dipped in honeycomb. That's Kellogg's secret. So for your breakfast, make sure you get Kellogg's, because
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
This program has come to you from New York. America is sold on ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
Tired of the everyday routine? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all?
We offer you Escape. Escape. Designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
Tonight, we escape to the English Channel in wartime and to a harrowing night, crossing those gray, cold waters in a small boat with the threat of instant death in command, as David Devine tells it in his exciting story, Flood on the Goodwin.
That one?
Where?
Off to starboard.
No, it's a mattress.
Blasted fog. Couldn't see the living, let alone the dead.
I don't think we'll be finding any more.
Not the way the fog is settling down now. Where do you figure the patrol boat is?
She ought to be about a couple of 100 yards to port. Take it easy now, Uncle. Don't want to ram her.
Don't you worry about me, Dundas. Just you start singing out.
Patrol boat ahoy! Patrol boat ahoy!
Ahoy! Who are you? Captain Matt of the Mary East.
They're starting to be dead ahead, Mac. Better cut it back. Oh, I see her.
They've come about it.
We're coming around just stern.
Get any more?
Yes, 3. Watch out for those dinghies.
I see them.
They're a hand there. 3 more coming aboard. Any alive?
No, all 3 are drowned.
Come on, Mac. Let's get them up there.
Don't you bother, Dundas. Hey there! You send down a couple of men.
Sure.
My mate here, he's only got 1 flipper.
Oh, now, look, Mac, that doesn't make any difference.
What's the matter? You ashamed of it?
Oh, no, but
Forward there, men.
Forward, right.
I can swing my load like any man.
Be sure I get my top back. Forward. Don't let it get you, boy. There's lots of amputees working these days.
Amputee? Look, must you use that expression?
Amputee is what you call a one-armed man. Amputee. What's wrong with it? Better than what you call those things they're hoisting there.
Amputee. I hate that word.
Bloaters, you call them. A man's been floating around dead in the water. He gets bloated, see? Bloated.
Very pretty. You know what you call a gabby old goat like you?
Never mind now. Never mind.
That's the box.
How many have been brought in to you so far?
Counting your 3, that makes 30.
30? You don't say.
Lucky we got this fog. Without it, we'd be sitting ducks for any Stukas or Messerschmitts that might be about.
Or U-boats.
Or U-boats. That's right.
Was it a U-boat sent you down?
No, man they brought in an hour ago, he said it was a time bomb.
Sabotage.
Yes. Went off in the forward hold.
Boom.
Bubble, bubble, bubble.
Boom. Bubble, bubble. Yeah, that Dundas?
I heard.
My nephew. Lost his flipper in the RAF. Taking it real hard.
You shouldn't take it hard.
No, who says I shouldn't?
No, don't get sore, laddie. I'm just trying to cheer you, don't you know?
Yes, well, cheer me by getting your feet off this boat so we can shove off.
Sure, laddie, sure.
Casting off.
Going back to Dover?
Might as well. Fog's in for the night. We'll just make it by dark.
Hello. Cheerio.
Cheerio. You didn't have to bite his head off.
Lay off me, Mac.
It didn't mean any harm.
I said lay off, Mac. Lay off.
All right.
30 of them.
So that's what's eating you.
Oh, Sabbath, sir. Can you imagine doing a thing like that? Can you see a man doing it?
Well, it's war, you know.
War. Fighting is war.
They didn't all drown.
No, only 29 of them. Didn't they say one was alive?
Yes.
It must be awful to drown. An awful way to die.
Wonder if it'll clear tomorrow.
Wharf up ahead.
Yes. Good navigating, Dundas.
Ought to be right ahead of us. Mary? We're coming in, dear. Dead ahead, Mac.
Right.
There, I'll jump it.
Hello, you two.
Hello, Mary.
Hello.
How was it, Uncle Mac?
Terrible, dear. Just terrible.
Were there many?
30.
Oh, dear.
That's it.
Mac, how's the fuel?
Ample. We didn't use a quarter of it.
Are you going to fish tonight?
Ask Mac. It's his boat.
Fishing tonight, Uncle Mac?
In this fog? I should say not.
Dundas can navigate for you in the water. They say it's as calm as a bathtub.
Well, I don't know.
I brought you food in case you're going out again.
I don't know. I think that husband of yours needs some sleep.
Are you going to start again?
What's wrong?
All day long he's complaining like an old woman. Just because he's had the bad luck to lose his fin.
Fin flipper. Why can't you say arm?
See what I mean?
Well, you know you are a little rough about it, Uncle Mac.
What ought I do? Help him feel sorry for himself?
Oh, cut it, both of you.
There was a man to see you, Uncle Mac.
Who?
We didn't say. He said he'd drop back.
Oh. What did he look like?
Well, very tall, distinguished looking.
Who's that, Mac?
Got me. Tall, you say?
Mm-hmm. And carrying a little briefcase.
Come for the payments on the boat, Mac.
No. Would this be him?
Oh, yes. You're back. Just in time to catch them.
Good, very good.
You were looking for me?
Yes. Yes, you're Captain Mac.
That's right.
Who is this?
Mr. Dundas, my nephew.
The husband of this lady.
Look, mister, who are you and what do you want?
Very simple. Must forgive my questioning. When one is engaged in my work, one can't be too careful.
Your work?
Intelligence.
What's that got to do with us?
I want to charter your boat for a trip.
Oh, government work, eh?
Yes.
A secret mission.
Where is it you want to go?
To Ostend. Tonight.
Belgium. That's a fair haul. There's the U-boats.
The fog will cover you.
What do you pay?
The Crown provides handsomely in these cases. £100.
Get on.
Wait a minute, Mac.
Huh?
Mind showing us your credentials, mister?
I shouldn't mind at all, fellow. Fact is, I'm not carrying any.
You're not, huh?
This isn't what you'd call a casual visit, you know.
Oh, use your head, Dundas. He's going where the Nazis are.
No credentials. And would you mind explaining why you're sniffing around a little fishing boat like this, when you could cross on one of those big, fast torpedo boats they got up at the yard?
I find this man insufferable, Captain. Now, what do you say? Time's growing short.
Why don't you take the torpedo boat? Or the sweeper. They got sweepers there, too, you know.
As a matter of fact, and you should be able to understand, those are government boats. Might be seen by one of the enemy shore stations.
In this fog? You're a liar, mister.
And you are a very astute fellow. Into the boats, all of you?
A gun!
Yes, my ticket to Ostend.
Put that thing down.
Look out, Mac. He's serious.
Indeed I am. Now, in.
Do what he says, man.
Start your motor.
Make me.
Shall I?
Start it, Mac.
This is crazy.
You, untie the ropes. You, miss, sit up there.
You don't stand a chance.
We shall see. I'll sit up front with the lady.
Front? You don't know much about boats, do you?
No, and I shan't pretend to.
Uh-huh.
Listen, mister. The harbor entrance is closed up. They got the submarine nets in there.
I happen to know they're open until 8. I'd better warn you, no tricks. I'm very good with a gun.
You are, eh? Dundas. He says he's very good.
Shut up. Let's go.
So, you're a Nazi.
That's right.
You talk like an Englishman.
Oh, really?
A Nazi. What are you, a spy?
You could say that.
What are you going back to the continent for? The war's not over.
What time do you think we'll hit the Belgian coast?
Around 2. You didn't answer my question.
What was that?
Why are you leaving England? Scared?
If you like. As a matter of fact, I'm returning because I've completed my mission.
And what was that?
Matter of a bomb.
Sabotage?
Naturally.
That ship. The one that went down off the coast. Was that your work?
Yes. I planted the bomb in the hold this morning before she sailed from Dover.
Stinking, filthy, bloody...
Hold it, Mac. Hold it.
Don't let him curse. I find him an amusing old gaffer.
30 men drowned because of you.
30? Dear me. There were 45 aboard, you know.
It was 29, Mac.
29, 30, what does it matter? This big, skinny Nazi, this sneak in the dark with his mission completed.
As a matter of fact, we were only joking, mister. Nobody was drowned.
No, what are you talking about? 29?
Your sense of security is a little delayed. One arm.
Don't you call me one arm.
Oh, sorry.
What's the time, Dundas?
Quarter of.
Ought to be passing Goodwin Sands.
Tide will be over them now.
What time do they expose this time of year?
Low tide's at 1.
That means we get a fast ride back anyhow.
If he lets us come back.
Lousy Nazi. How do we know you won't kill us when we let you off?
You have my word.
Yeah.
Oh, don't take on, dear.
I cannot help it. I'm fighting.
Let her come back here with us.
No.
See how tough he is? Shoots women.
If necessary.
I'd like to see you get that close to me.
Would you?
Yes. Look, Nazi. I'm walking toward you.
Matt, don't. You're asking for it, you know.
Bloody Nazi pig.
Don't take another step, Captain.
Look, man! Bloody pig!
I'll come back.
He can't hear you, girl. Don't slow down, one arm.
I want to get him.
He's dead. He's very dead.
He was a good man. He deserves burial.
And burial he's got. Now push your throttle back up.
No.
Your wife is next, one arm.
Thunder.
Much better. And now, we continue our little voyage.
In just a moment, we will return to Escape. But first, a show that brings laughter to millions week after week. That's something to be proud of. A show that wins a top award in critical competition. That's something to be proud of, too. And when a show comes along that does both, CBS proudly passes it along to you. You hear it exclusively now on most of these same CBS stations. You Bet Your Life, starring Groucho Marx. And there's the Bing Crosby Show, Burns and Allen, Lum and Abner. There's the unbeatable lineup CBS has for you every Wednesday night. This fall, you hear them all on CBS. And now back to Escape and the second act of Blood on the Goodwin.
How much longer, Dundas?
About an hour.
I notice you've changed course from time to time. Why is that?
The channel current. You ride with it, you make better time.
I see. And you'd like to be rid of my company as quickly as possible.
That's right.
I'm glad you're being reasonable. The old man was a fool.
You think so, huh?
Of course, and so do you.
Why do you say that?
You've seen the war. You know how it is.
That's right. I know how it is.
Dundas, don't talk like that.
Why? What's wrong, Mary?
Don't talk with him. It killed Uncle Mac. I'd like to talk to him.
Well, we find each other very interesting, Mary. Don't we?
Oh, yes, indeed. Tell me, how did you lose your arm?
RAF. I was a navigator.
A very good one, I imagine.
Yes.
Did it, happen over England?
No, Bremen.
Bremen. I see. You chaps did a very thorough job at Bremen.
Yes.
You ought to be complimented.
Thank you.
Dundas.
Relax, Mary, relax.
Oh.
You must understand, Mary.
What?
May I call you Mary? You must understand it's a very extraordinary thing for the soldiers of warring nations to get together for a chat like this.
Take a nap, Mary.
Take a nap?
Yes, why don't you? Here. You can pull this tarpaulin over.
No, not that.
What?
It's got blood on it, that tarpaulin.
Blood? But really, the old man was over there.
Not from him.
Oh?
We spent the day picking up after you.
I see. And you used the tarpaulin for the body.
Yes.
Well, then, Mary. Of course, we mustn't use that.
Please. May I go back to where my husband is?
No, you may not.
Why? Why can't
I'll tell you why you may not. You two are desperate, despite your husband's conversational manner. I should like to avoid the possibility of your rushing me.
You see how it is, Mary?
I'm sure she understands.
Just be very quiet, Mary. Everything will be all right.
Of course, a lot depends on you, Dundas.
Why do you say that?
Don't you know what I'm talking about?
Why, no.
That wrench you picked up about 15 minutes ago. It's right behind you on the ledge.
Thwart.
Thwart, then. It's right behind you on the thwart. Do you mind dropping it overboard like a good fellow?
Oh, that'd be a foolish waste. Wartime, you know. Wrenches are hard to come by.
Yes, I'm sure. Then why not slide it over here?
All right.
Huh? Slide it. Even if you could hit me accurately enough to disable me, the gun would go off and... You know?
I know. Here.
Thank you, Dennis. Now then, where were we?
Soldiers from warring nations.
Oh, yes. Remarkable meeting. Gives us a chance to refresh ourselves on what it is we're fighting about.
Dundas is fighting men who sabotage ships.
Was, you mean, don't you?
Well...
Was. Now I fight nothing.
So I envy you. Unfortunately, I am still able. So, Miss, carry on.
And I find it a little difficult. Oh, excuse me.
What's wrong?
Navigation. I have to check my course.
Oh, by all means. What course are you steering?
Why don't you come and look?
No, I don't think I'd better.
Why not?
You might have another wrench there. Or perhaps you'll try to take my gun. which case I'd have to shoot. Have to kill you. Then where would I be? I might steer all the way back to Dover without knowing it.
That's so.
Then I should have to kill your wife so she wouldn't inform. You see how it is.
How do you know I'm not tricking you?
Oh, I'm sure you're not. If we don't arrive by 3, I'm going to kill her anyway. Then, if you should continue to be stubborn, there are ways of forcing you.
You mean torture?
Ordinarily, it's very difficult to do alone. But in your case, one-armed, it should be comparatively simple.
Well, let's not waste words on all that. I'm taking you where you want to go. And I'm counting on you to keep your word to allow a safe departure.
Well, of course.
I don't believe in Dundas.
But why? Why not?
Because you're what you are. And because Dundas might know something your people want to find out. Dundas, don't you see that they'll torture you? He's lying, Dundas.
Please, Mary, please, don't worry.
You have my word. My sacred words. On my honor. As a gentleman.
You see, Mary? We have nothing to worry about.
Yes, it must be wonderful to be out of the fighting.
Not bad.
I'll be glad when it's over.
Think it'll be over soon?
Quite. You've heard of our buzz bombs.
Yes.
That's only the beginning. We're developing weapons 1,000 times as terrible. Oh, 10,000 times as effective.
Really? Tell me about them.
Your wife seems to have gone to sleep.
Where? Can't see very well in this dark.
Against my knee.
Good. About your new weapons. You were saying 10,000 times as terrible.
Yes, there are rockets, the like of which the English have not dreamed. Rockets that can travel 100 miles, 300. No one knows what their limitations will be. Radio controlled. Speed about 30,000 miles an hour. Altitude, 60 miles. And what they will carry, I leave to your imagination.
Why leave it to my imagination?
What?
You wouldn't tell me all this highly secret business if it were your intention to allow us safe departure now, would you?
I'm sure your agents know this by now.
I don't know. But something tells me you've come to a decision about us.
How much longer until we hit shore?
Not long now. I'm bringing her into a deserted beach a few miles outside of Ostend.
I see.
If you look ahead, you may see the shoreline soon.
Straight ahead?
Yes.
Impossible. This fog is too much.
What? I've got it, Dundas.
Give me that gun, you...
Here, Dundas.
Good work, Mary. Stand back, fella. That's it. Now raise them good and high.
Oh, Dundas, I thought he'd never drop his wrist. I waited and waited.
Here, Mary. Take the wheel. Hold that course.
Yes, Dundas.
Well. It's a remarkable woman, your wife.
Yes, indeed.
Unfortunately, there's no cartridge in the chamber.
Well, it's pointed at your gut. Why don't I pull the trigger and see if you're telling the truth?
Perhaps you'd better not.
I don't see why not, if it's empty.
No, it's loaded.
Huh?
You, I wonder if you're the type who can kill the man he's facing.
I don't know. I've never done it.
It's very difficult, you know. Just think of me as a fellow human being, flesh and blood like yourself. Think of the infinite genius that went into making this body of mine. Skin, muscles, arteries, veins, organs, vessels in the blood. The blood. Murder is a very difficult thing when you're face to face with the murdered.
I know. I don't feel as though I could kill you right at this minute. But suppose I try. All I have to do is squeeze the trigger ever so little.
Wait. No, don't.
Why not?
My life is worth a lot to me. More, believe it or not, than my pride, my honor, my love of Germany. Oh, much, much more than that.
All right, have you a proposition?
Dundas.
Be still, Mary. I know what I'm doing.
Yes, you keep out of this.
What's your proposition?
Money. You're going to need money, aren't you? A one-arm has a tough time of it in peacetime. Jobs are hard to get.
Go on.
I have several accounts in London banks. Big accounts. I can write you a check. You can cash it tomorrow.
How much? £1,000.
I can't hear you.
Dundas, don't do this.
2,000. 3. 5 then, and that's all the money I have in the world.
What about on you?
Yes, in the briefcase. £150.
Don't move.
But the briefcase...
I'll take care of that after you leave. Write the check for £5,000.
Oh, Dundas, please. Please don't do it.
Your wife doesn't understand these things.
No. This is the way of the world, dear.
Dundas.
And for this, I let you off at the beach. Of course, I want to warn you against mentioning my name.
But of course. Here. Here's your check.
Thank you.
Aren't you going to shoot me now?
No. Bargain's a bargain. I'll follow through.
Why, you are an honest man.
Deal's a deal.
Yes, that's right.
I'd better take the wheel.
Shall I take the gun, Dundas?
No.
Please, Dundas, please, let me hold it.
No, Mary.
Well, why in the name of heaven can't I? You can't steal and cover him at the same time, not with one hand.
If you take the gun, you'll shoot him, Mary. I know you.
Oh, no, I wouldn't.
Yes, you would. And that'd be dishonest, Mary. We've made a deal, this man and I.
Yes, an honorable deal.
But how to steer and all, that does pose a problem. Mary, bring me that big wrench.
All right, Dundas.
What are you going to do?
Since I can't handle the wheel and the gun, and since Mary's not to be trusted, I'll keep the wrench for just in case. And solve the gun problem very simply.
Dundas, you fool!
And you, sir? You'll find a fishing line with lead on the end of it right up there in the front locker.
What?
I'm going to slow down now. We're almost there. You'll do the sounding for me.
Yes, of course.
You deliberately threw that gun overboard. You're selling out.
£5,000, dear. As the Yanks put it, that ain't hay.
I have the line.
All right, throw it ahead of you. Then feel when it touches bottom. Then measure the depth by your spread arms.
Here it goes.
Oh, Dundas, darling, I know the war's a shock to you, losing your arm and all, but don't do this. You'll regret it. You'll regret it all the rest of your days.
Hit bottom.
How deep?
2, 3, 4, 5. 5, that's all.
All right, we're closing in on the coast. Swing again.
Right.
We'll hear the surf in a minute now. It'll not be very strong. It's low tide, you know.
2, 3 and a half.
All right, get ready to jump.
Jump?
Now, this boat hasn't got wheels. You'll have to walk the last 10 feet in.
All right.
Get ready. Here we are. The minute you feel a scrape bottom, jump out and push the bow around.
Right.
Dundas.
Shh. Here I go.
Good night.
Good night, sucker.
Why, sucker?
That check. The bank is short of funds to the name I signed.
Oh, really? Found the beach?
Yes, I'm on it.
Take a few steps.
Why?
You'll see.
It stops. There's water beyond.
The bank is short of funds. That beach is short of sand.
Where am I?
You're on Goodwin Sands. Dover's just 6 miles that way.
Which way?
I didn't say. And if you're thinking of swimming, I can tell you, you don't stand a chance.
You thief! You mother of murder!
It's low tide now, but wait a while. In a few hours, it'll be 10 feet over your head. Drowning's not pleasant, Nazi. If you had your gun, you could shoot yourself. You could hang yourself with your belt, but there were no trees. So think about those men you drowned today. Think about them while you wait. I may be around to pick up your body soon. Maybe. Good night, bloater!
Escape is produced and directed by William N. Robeson. Tonight we have presented Blood on the Goodwins by David Devine, adapted for radio by James Poe. Featured in the cast were Jack Edwards as Dundas, Will Gear as Uncle Mac, and Barton Yarborough as the Nazi. Also heard were Betty Lou Gerson and Eric Snowden. Special music was arranged and conducted by Del Castillo. Next week...
You are high in the mountains of Peru, digging frantically for a vast fortune in golden Inca relics. Upon your success hangs the fate of a beautiful woman and your own life.
Next week, we escape with a thrilling tale of one of the most murderous treasure hunts ever made, as David Dodge tells it in his exciting story, Plunder of the Sun. Goodbye, then, until this same time next week, when once again we offer you Escape. A fellow named Bob Hope will turn up on the Bing Crosby Show this Wednesday night, so don't say we didn't alert you for the show of the week. This verbal tennis match between Bing and Bob will be broadcast on most of these same CBS stations, along with the Groucho Marx Show, Burns and Allen, and Lum and Abner, all Wednesday night CBS features.
Tune in this fall for the shows that you love best of all.
Listen carefully.
Here's the address. It's CBS.
Stay tuned now for Life with Luigi, which follows immediately over most of these same CBS stations. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Rice Chex and Wheat Chex, the bite-sized cereals in the red and white checkerboard packages, present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed Space Patrol adventure, Buzz and Appy have entered a repair shop in Mercury City to search for a spy from interstellar space.
The room's empty, sir. Cargill was telling the truth.
It's the same. We'll take Cargill to headquarters for questioning.
Commander, look. Behind that cabinet.
Don't try anything, Commander.
It's Smead.
Come out here, Smead, with your hands up.
I'm in control here, Corey. There is a deadly, invisible beam right between us. Now drop those guns, or you'll be nothing but a heap of ashes.
We'll return in just a moment with today's exciting Space Patrol adventure, Design for Disaster. Hang on to your space helmets, gang. Here comes Cadet Happy. Around the corner. Over the fence. And clear the way, because here he is.
Hi, Captain Tufeld.
Hi, Hap. Hey, how come all the shortcuts? Why the big rush?
Smoking rockets. I was in a hurry to get here and tell all the space patrollers about this neat new surprise the commander has for them. Take a look, Captain. It's plenty terrific.
Wow, the Space Patrol Periscope.
An honest-to-goodness Space Patrol Periscope with magic mirrors that let you see around corners, over fences, and around trees and over bushes. But nobody can see you.
Yes, sirree. You see without being seen. Over the heads of a crowd, too, because the Space Patrol Periscope is a big, 24 inches long. It's tapered special for wide-angle vision, with a real mirror at the top and one at the bottom, too.
Jumping Jupiter, gang, you sure can have fun with one of your own. The commander wants you to have one, too. And he wants all of you to listen to today's Space Patrol adventure and find out how we use our official Space Patrol Periscope.
So get your paper and pencils ready. In just a few minutes, I'm going to tell you how to get your periscope.
Say, Captain, how did you know I took all those shortcuts a while back? Over the fences and around the corner. Oh, sure. How space happy can you get? You were peering through your periscope.
Right, Cadet.
Ah!
And now, today's Space Patrol adventure, Design for Disaster. Commander Corey and Cadet Happy have captured one of the agents from Turana, a distant solar system that plans to attack the United Planets. For hours now, Buzz has given phonograph tests to the agent Rogart, attempting to learn all possible information about the enemy. Happy is in the Commander's central office right now at Space Patrol headquarters as Buzz enters from the security lab.
Hello, how's it going, Commander? Getting anything out of Rogar?
But even with the brainograph, it's slow.
Found out where Tirana is?
Yes, it's in the constellation Pegasus. A little more than 80 light years from our solar system.
If we only had enough Star Drive ships to send on a scouting mission. And when's the attack scheduled?
Rogarth doesn't know.
It's too bad that other agent Smeed got away from us. I'll bet he knows.
Rogarth might help us locate Smeed. In the next session of the brainograph, I'm going to ask him to name every base of operation and every hideout Smeed might visit. Like they have, unless we locate Smeed and find a way to stop that attack from Tirana, the United Planets are facing slavery or annihilation.
Almost anyone is likely to enter a spaceophone repair shop. Also, strange pieces of equipment and strange noises are not likely to cause suspicion in such a place. These are two reasons why Matthew Smeed has set up another Turanian agent, Pax Targo, in the spaceophone shop in Mercury City. Smeed, carrying a small receiver, has just entered Targo's shop.
Good afternoon. I wonder if you could tell me what's wrong with this set?
It's okay, Smeed. No one's in the shop.
Good. Have you contacted Drift Benyon?
Yes. He's very interested in your proposition.
I knew he would be. Benyon is the type of criminal who prefers the melodramatic.
I'd say that blowing up the Mercury City atmosphere plant just to rob a bank is more than just melodrama.
Of course. It's military strategy for the Turanian cause. But Benyon doesn't know about that part of it, does he?
No. No, he thinks I just want a share of the bank loot.
And Benyon is willing to plan the explosive himself?
Yes, as soon as I complete the device.
It isn't finished yet?
A few more details to take care of. It's over there on the bench. I want to test the timing mechanism.
All right. Now, tell me just what you told Benyon.
Well, Benyon hides the explosive in the atmosphere plant. Then he and his men put on spacesuits waiting for the explosion.
Concealed, of course.
Yes. The surface truck will be in Slaker's warehouse. When the atmosphere plant blows up, there will be a panic all over the city. Banyan and his men rush to the Mercury City Bank. Banyan's gang scoops up all the money they can lay their hands on, piles into the truck, and then goes to the spaceport.
And we'll be on Venus, waiting for Banyan to bring us our share of the money.
Suppose Banyan gets captured.
Well, we'll see that he isn't, even if we have to dispose of him ourselves. Anyway, Banyan must never know that you have any connection with Tirana. Now, hurry and finish the time bomb.
In his central office on Terra, Commander Corey has just completed his interrogation of the captured Turanian agent, Rogarth. Right now, he's telling Cadet Happy the results of the phonograph test.
Rogarth was able to locate 5 possible hideouts where he might find Smeed.
No? Those shouldn't take any cover.
The trouble is there are probably several more. But according to Rogarth, Smeed might be hiding in Saturn, Jupiter's third moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars.
We could alert our agents and hit all 5 places at once.
It'd be fine if we be sure he'd be at one of those 5 places. If he's somewhere else, those simultaneous raids would only tip him off.
Yeah, that's right. It would be even harder to find.
However, I think I have something here that might solve our problem. In this cabinet. This could be the trick.
Oh, what is it?
It's that new piece of equipment I mentioned last week, Chap. The official Space Patrol periscope.
You mean that tube is going to help us find Smeed?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'll show you how it works. Look out the upper window, huh?
Oh, yes, sir. I'll just move this chair up and stand on it.
No, that isn't necessary. Just take the periscope. That's it. Hold one end to your eyes and point the other end out of that front window.
Smoking rockets. It's like being 2 feet taller.
Yeah. Turning it sideways, you can see around corners with it.
Oh, this is great. If there was a criminal around the corner with a blast gun, you could find out where he was without getting hit.
That's right. And notice the wide-angle vision it gives you.
Oh, this is some gadget. But, well, I still don't see how it's going to be much help in finding Smeed.
Wait till we test it out in space. When you're outside of the strong gravity field of the planet, you can use a periscope to see objects millions of DUs away.
Oh, like a high-powered telescope, huh?
That's better than a telescope, huh? If you're out in space with a telescope, you might be able to see this headquarters building here in Terra. But with the periscope, you could see inside the building. You could look into any room, any office.
Smoking rockets. So that's how we're going to look for Matthew Smeed.
You won't know we're watching.
Well, why can't we work it right from here? Or from the roof of the building?
Because of Terra's gravity field. The periscope is like a star-drive spaceship. It operates through another dimension in hyperspace. When delicate long-distance adjustments are necessary, periscope must be in a near-zero gravity field.
I'm sure anxious to see how it works out in space.
Let's go to the Terra 5, Hap. We'll give the periscope its first action test.
Millions of DUs from any planet, the Terra 5 cruises through space on automatic control. Buzz and Happy examine the new Space Patrol periscope, now held securely in a bracket attached near the control panel. Buzz has attached a small, compact adjustment mechanism which enables the periscope to focus upon any remote point of space.
We drew another blank. I'll reset the adjustments for the place in Mercury City.
Oh, the space phone repair shop?
Yes. I've got it, Hap. Look through the periscope.
Oh, it's like we were standing right in the street in front of the shop.
Let me take over then. I'll change the focus to inside the shop. Looks legitimate enough. Some testing equipment. Several spacephone receivers and transmitters taken apart. The desk and papers scattered all over.
Anyone there, sir?
Yes, there's a man working at the bench. Doesn't look like a spacephone. It's a square box with a sort of top dial on it. Uh-oh. Someone's opening the door on the back of the shop. Hap, take a look.
Yes, sir. Smeed.
The man we're looking for, Mercury City.
We can space up on Mercury City headquarters and have that shop surrounded.
There's too much chance of Smeed intercepting the call. Remember, he's surrounded by a whole shop full of spacephone equipment. Chances are he's constantly monitoring our channels.
Yeah, that's right. And for all we know, he might even know our codes.
Keep watching him. Maybe we can pick up some hints. There it is, Smeed. All ready for action.
Good. Take it easy. Don't blow it up here.
Don't worry. The safety switch is on.
And what about Griff Benyon?
He's coming here to pick it up later this afternoon.
All right, then all we have to do is... Ow! Something bit me on the hand. Where did these ants come from? Your desk is swarming with them.
Oh, put some fruit in the drawer yesterday and forgot about it.
Where's your medicine kit?
Don't worry, Smeed. Those ants won't hurt you.
How do you know they won't? Remember, we're from another solar system. We may not be immune to bites from these insects.
Hey, that's right. I'll get rid of them right away.
You can do that when I'm gone. Now, about this deal with Griff Benyon. You set the timing device right here. When Benyon leaves, you go to the spaceport. We don't want to be in Mercury City when the atmosphere turns over.
Smeed's leaving the shop, Commander. Can we follow him with the periscope?
We can for a while, but when we get closer to Mercury, the increasing gravity field will blur the image. We'll land at Mercury City and go directly to that spacephone shop. Maybe we can make Smeed's partner talk.
Two hours later, Buzz and Happy are in a surface car on a side street in Mercury City. Leaving the car a block from the shop, they continue on foot. In the shop, Targall is carefully going through his papers, destroying incriminating evidence.
Yes, gentlemen? Something I can do for you?
Do you run this shop?
Yes, I do. I'm Pax Targall. We're looking for a man named Smeed. Matthew Smeed. Smeed? I don't believe I know anyone by that name. We'll just take a look around, Targall. You won't find your Mr. Smeed here. No, maybe, but he was.
Yeah, we saw him.
You saw him?
No, let's not argue.
Lead the way into that back room. Go on, Targall. You can come back.
Yes, sir.
There. As you can see, the room is empty. I'm taking you to headquarters for questioning, Targall. Just what is this all about?
Commander, look, behind that cabinet.
Don't try anything, Commander.
It's Smeed.
Come out here, Smeed, with your hands up.
I'm in control here, Commander. Do you hear that sound? That's a disintegrator beam.
Disintegrator beam?
That's right, Cadet. There's a deadly, invisible beam in this room, forming a wall between you and me.
Turn it off or I'll use this ray gun.
Try it, and I'll sweep this beam over you. In a fraction of a second, you'll be nothing but a heap of ashes. Now, drop those guns.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment. All set on the pencils and papers, gang. In just seconds, you're going to find out how you can get your super sensational Space Patrol Periscope. The official Space Patrol Periscope with the magic mirrors that let you see around corners, over fences, while nobody can see you. Yes, you see without being seen. And, gang, just wait till you get your first look through. It's a big 24 inches long and tapered special for wide-angle vision with 2 mirrors, one at the top, one at the bottom. It comes in real George space colors, too. Blue, yellow, and red. Wowie! Think of the fun you can have peering at your pals through your periscope. And you'll have lots of fun putting your periscope together, too. You do it yourself. Easy directions are right on the envelope it comes in. And it takes only a few minutes, and presto, you're set to start peering through your periscope. Now, gang, remember, you can see around corners and over fences and around trees, over bushes, but nobody can see you. Okay? You're set with pencil and paper? Here's how you get your official Space Patrol periscope. Send a Rice Chex or Wheat Chex box top, together with your name and address, and 25 cents in coin, to Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. This offer good only in the USA and may be withdrawn at any time. Now, Space Patrollers, don't forget your 25 cents. That's Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. And now back to our Space Patrol adventure designed for disaster. With the aid of the new Space Patrol periscope, Buzz and Happy located Matthew Smead in a hideout in Mercury City. Smead and his accomplice, Pax Targal, are agents from the remote solar system Tirana, which is preparing to attack the United Planets. When Buzz and Happy accosted Smead in the back room of the Spaceophone repair shop, Smead cut on a disintegrator beam and threatens to focus the deadly rays on the Space Patrollers.
You haven't a chance, Corey. Do as you're told.
If that's the disintegrator beam, Smead, why doesn't it destroy the walls of this room?
It's simple. It's tuned to a frequency that affects only living tissues. It doesn't harm inorganic, lifeless matter. However, if you like a demonstration, just watch what happens to the cadet.
All right, Smead, this round is yours. Drop your ray gun, Happy.
Yes, sir. Very wise, gentlemen. Fargo.
Yeah?
When Corey and the cadet step back, and I'm sure they will, you pick up their weapons. Don't move till I tell you to. You might step into the disintegrator beam.
I'll wait, don't worry.
Step back, gentlemen, into that closet. Go on. All right, Fargo, get their guns.
You can cut off the disintegrator now, Smead. I got him covered.
Lock them in the closet.
Sure.
Now, I want you to get on the phone and call your friend.
Oh, you mean?
Yes, you know very well who I mean. Tell him there has been a change in plans. We will bring the necessary equipment to him.
What about Corey and the cadet?
When we leave, I'll turn the beam on. That'll keep them under control. There. He can't get out of this room without knocking out a wall. Now get that bomb and let's get out of here.
I didn't hear anything out there, sir. I think they've gone.
I think Smead about us off that easy. Let's try breaking out and see what happens.
No objection so far.
I'll give him another kick.
The room's empty, sir. They've gone off.
Hold it, Hat. Don't move. The disintegrator beam is on.
Oh, when I was just about to cross the room.
The source of that beam is down there.
We can get to that machine and turn it off.
No, we can't. Speed placed it where we can't get to it without stepping into the beam.
Then we're blocked.
We could only find exactly where that beam is and locate its boundaries. Perhaps we could crawl under it. Uh-oh.
Well, what is it, sir?
Look down at the floor next to the wall.
You don't see anything? Except a swarm of ants.
That's what I mean. Either they're crawling along the molding and onto it. If we can get some of those ants in that metal bar, we can use it as a test rod. We'll move it around slowly. When the ants start disappearing and dropping off, we'll know that they...
We'll know we're on the beam. Great. I'll get the rod.
Get some ants on it. And we'll start near the floor and work up.
Carefully holding the bar at arm's length, Commander Corey probes for the invisible beam. Inch by inch, he advances across the room.
Be careful, sir. It's a foot off the floor, and the ants are still okay. Uh-oh. Now they're gone.
This is the lower limit of the disintegrator beam, Hat. About 18 inches off the floor at this point. We'll lie on our stomachs and crawl across the room to the door. And keep low.
Don't worry, sir. I'll be so flat you'll think it's my shadow.
Moments later, Buzz and Happy are in their surface car. As they drive toward Mercury City headquarters, the commander issues spaceophone orders to the City Patrol Division.
Are those instructions clear, Captain?
Yes, Commander. I'll assign men to watch the repair shop. The guards at the spaceport will be alerted to stop speed and cargo as they show up.
Oh, one more thing, Captain. I want you to check on a couple of phone numbers I found on scraps of paper at the spaceophone shop. Find out who they're listed to and the address.
Yes, sir.
They're both Mercury City numbers. Virgo 45907 and 423611.
I'll trace them immediately, Commander.
Inform Colonel Harris that I'm blasting off immediately to make some tests with the new periscope. May be able to locate Smead with it. Corey out.
Elsewhere, in another part of Mercury City, Smead and Targol wait impatiently beside a spaceophone.
What's wrong with Banyan? Why doesn't he call?
I hope he didn't lose his nerve.
Well, he's had plenty of time to place that explosive at the atmosphere plant. Get it.
Yeah?
This is Banyan. Everything all set?
Have any trouble?
Not a bit. Time bomb is hid, but nobody could find it, even if they were looking for it.
Where are you now?
At a booth at the Space Hotel.
Better get to the warehouse. There isn't much time.
I'm on my way now.
Okay, Banyan. See you later. Everything's going fine, Smead.
You get over to the warehouse. We can use 2 of those stolen spacesuits for our getaway.
Thousands of DUs from the planet Mercury, Buzz and Happy recheck Smead's known hideout for a trace of activity, focusing the periscope carefully from planet to planet.
Captain Walters at Space Patrol Headquarters, Mercury City, calling Commander Corey aboard Terra 5.
Corey here. Go ahead, Captain.
I've traced both of those numbers, Commander. The Virgo number's a doctor's office. Dr. Chandler. Doc's okay. He says a packed Targol made an appointment by phone and then canceled out. He never saw a Targol, and he never heard of Matthew Speed.
How about that phone number?
That's listed to Slaker's warehouse on Meridian Street. There's no answer.
What's the address?
101 North Meridian.
I'll check it with the periscope. Anything else, Captain?
Nothing on Speed or Targol. We got a report from the atmosphere plant. One of the guards thought he saw Grip Banyan duck down the stairway.
The guard sure it was Banyan?
Yes, sir. But he got away. Colonel Harris has ordered a complete search of the atmosphere plant. So far, we haven't found anything.
Ask for Colonel to continue the search. Keep all Space Patrol personnel away from that warehouse till I scan it with a periscope. I'll contact you later. Hurry out. Have to get that map of Mercury City and check the coordinates of that warehouse.
I've already done it, Commander.
On the way, just for luck, we'll see what's going on at the atmosphere plant.
Okay. If Drift Banyan's hiding there, the periscope might be able to sneak up on him where the guards couldn't.
Methodically, with delicate adjustment of the periscope focusing control, Buzz explores every corridor, every room of the vast atmosphere plant in Mercury City. They watch the technicians at work. They see guards searching storerooms, peering behind machinery. There is no sign of Drift Banyan.
Well, if Banyan was there, he's gone now.
Yeah. With the periscope, we've been able to look into places the guards overlook.
Now, wait a minute. Take a look at this. Look under that large vent. What do you see?
It's a piece of equipment. A meter of some kind, I guess.
Doesn't it look familiar?
Well, in a way, yes. It's sort of crude and homemade, but...
The last time we saw that box, it was on a bench in Targol's spaceophone repair shop.
That's right. Now I remember. Sure, there couldn't be 2 boxes just like that.
There's a tie-in between Smead and Drift Banyan. We're really into trouble.
You think either Smead or Targol gave that box to Banyan, and Banyan put it in the atmosphere plant?
Probably. Very likely an explosive of some kind.
Oh, if that main filter blows up, it'll cut off the air supply for all of Mercury City.
When I contact Mercury City headquarters, you switch the periscope back to that warehouse. I just thought of something I overlooked.
Yes, sir.
Commander Corey aboard Terra 5 calling Captain Walters at Mercury City headquarters. Urgent. Corey to Mercury City headquarters.
Captain Walters here, Commander.
Captain, listen carefully. Send a demolition squad to the central air purifying chambers at the atmosphere plant. Under the main vent, they'll find a small box. It's probably a time bomb.
Well, that's why Grip Banyan...
There may not be much time, Captain. I want trained demolition men on that job right away.
Yes, Commander.
Double the guard at the spaceport. Smead and Targol are working with Banyan. With that bomb ready to go off, they'll stop at nothing to escape. Hurry out. How about that periscope? You got the warehouse yet?
Yes, sir, but the image isn't too clear. I thought I saw something move, sir, near the truck.
You did. There are 4 men there, all carrying something. Spacesuit. With official Space Patrol insignia.
You'd better tip off headquarters to round them up.
I'll order a stakeout surrounding the block. Move in now might scare away the men we're after, the ringleaders. The image is completely gone now. Take the periscope out of the bracket. We may need it when we get back to Mercury City.
Landing at Mercury City Spaceport, Buzz and Happy find no indication of alarm. Under the normal activity, Space Patrol personnel are quietly preparing for any emergency if disaster should strike. Right now, in the service car, Buzz and Happy speed to the warehouse on Meridian Street. As it pulls to a stop at the rear of the structure, Buzz makes a last-minute space-phone check with headquarters.
Corey and surface car M78 calling Captain Walters at headquarters.
Walters here, Commander.
Happy and I are at the warehouse. Any word from the atmosphere plant?
It just came in. It was a bomb, all right, but it's harmless now. Demolition men said it was the trickiest gadget they ever handled. It was set to go off in 1,500 hours. If it had, the whole air purifier unit would have been blown clear through the atmosphere shelf.
Close call. Thanks, Captain. Stand by. Corey out. Now, Hap, there's a Vigo here in the periscope.
Yes, sir.
Small window we can just reach with the periscope. Careful. Yes, sir. What do you see? Several men. All in spacesuits except one. He's getting one laid out. It's Targon. Yes, I don't see it. I can't tell. Some of the men are getting into the truck. And Targon is looking at his watch. Just 1,500. I expect that's very high. Oh, it's fine. 4 men in the back of the truck and the 50 men is robbing them in. But they got him willingly if they can.
Something's gone wrong with the bomb. You must have tampered with the setting.
You crazy. Look, bomb or no bomb, the boys and I are going to pull off that bank job.
Get your hands up, Banyan. You too, Fargo.
Banyan, unlock the talk. Let the boys out.
No, you don't, Banyan. Get Banyan, Hap. I'll handle Fargo. All right, Banyan. On your feet. And get out of that spacesuit. You won't be needing it.
Nice tackle, huh? Now, you want to continue the work out, or will you tell me where to find your pal Sneed?
He's near the spaceport, waiting for the explosion.
Yeah? Well, we've got news for you. The only thing that's going to blow up will be Sneed's plans.
An action preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure in just a moment. A secret agent from outer space, or a spy right here on Earth. That's you, Space Patrollers, spying through the magic mirrors of your neat new official Space Patrol periscope. And man, oh man, you're in for plenty of exciting times with yours. You can set your periscope sights on all your Earth pals, spy on them from around corners, over fences, and from behind trees. Those magic mirrors of your periscope let you see them, but they'll never, never see you. Yes, sir. You see without being seen.
Right, Dick. Space Patrollers, this is Commander Corey. And listen, here's something special that'll come in mighty handy when you're out space flying. It's an identification chart printed right on your periscope. Shows you exactly what the people who live on all the major planets might look like. What's more, on every periscope, there's a place for your name, address, and solar system.
And remember, Space Patrollers, this is a real periscope. A big 24 inches long and tapered special for wide-angle vision, with a mirror on top and one on the bottom.
Space Patrollers, be the first official space spy in your gang. Get your own official Space Patrol periscope today.
And here's how you get them. Send a Rice Chex or Wheat Chex box top, together with your name and address and 25 cents in coin, to Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. That address again is Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. Don't forget your 25 cents and your Rice Chex or Wheat Chex box top.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Bite-sized checks taste good to me. Bite-sized checks, Wheat Chex, Rice Chex. Get your checkerboard cereal today.
And now, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and Happy are in their Star Drive ship when a patrol ship piloted by the spy Matthew Smead suddenly approaches.
Keep watching Smead in the periscope, Hap. I'll blast away to another part of space.
Yes, sir. Commander, what's wrong?
A rocket's cut out. The emergency units are dead. We're in free fall.
You're completely helpless, Corey.
The space patrol.
It's me.
There is no escape, Commander. You're prisoners of Tirana.
Be sure to listen next week for the thrilling story, Prisoners of Tirana, when Rice Check and Wheat Check again present Space Patrol. Space Patrol, created by Mike Moser, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson, executive producer Helen Moser. Other players were Ken Mayer, Norman Jolly, and Bela Kovac. Dick Tufeld speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when Rice Check and Wheat Check present exciting action on Space Patrol. This program is broadcast for Armed Forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.